Hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is match day. Springboks versus Australia kicks off in just under 25 minutes, and it should be an absolute cracker. Can the Springboks bounce back? That is the question we have been asking all week. Can this team, which has proved time and time again, whenever they're up, their backs against the wall and things get quite tough, they come out swinging, they come out firing, and they really do go on to put in some very big performances from some very tricky positions. The question is, can they do it once again? Because it's another massive ask. We're playing at one of Australia's sort of most successful sort of stadiums in front of a crowd once again, backed up against the wall. I think Australia will be very confident going into this game, and they'll definitely be backing themselves to get a result. But the question is, can we, despite that, can we pull it off? And it should be a very interesting game. I think quite a lot of big names have to put in quite big performances today. I think there are a couple of players who were pretty disappointing last weekend, if we're going to be very, very honest. So let's hope that we do see a much improved performance, because if we don't, then it's going to start getting quite worrying ahead of next week. When we do go on to take on the All Blacks. We're taking on Argentina after this game. We will be live for both of these games. You've got myself for the South Africa versus Australia game, and then you've got Lecanio later, who will be taking you through Argentina versus New Zealand. Hopefully a much better performance from Argentina as well, after their pretty poor showing last weekend up against the All Blacks. So I think you can only get much better from the Argentina, to be honest. But yeah, so we've got a poll running in the comments, saying who's going to win the clash. At the moment, South Africa is leading quite a lot, so please do go and vote on that poll there. Smash like on the video as well. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know where you're watching from and how your weekends go, and how the start to your weekend was. What's the plan for the day? Are we all breakfasting? Or is anybody opening a beer at 8:30? I'm not. After last night, I had quite a few, so we're not going to go there just, not going to be silly here. We're going to try and build into the day, but I'm going to try and build an innings. And it's the last weekend where we don't have any provincial rugby, because this time next week, we'll be live for the Rugby Championship once again, but we would have already had 3 URC games. We'll have URC games all of next week, Saturday, throughout the rest of the day. So, buckle up, because next weekend is going to be a wild ride. There are 10 matches that are of interest, really, in terms of Rugby Championship, URC. So it should be a really interesting next couple of months, because the URC actually runs until June. So it's a very, very long competition. You have to be in there for the long run. And hopefully that really does sort of live up to its reputation and to its billing. But yeah, also let me get what your score predictions are. I see we've got Grant Swartz in the comments. Tim van Merg, good morning, everyone. Sharon Gray, ANC SpongeBob says, I hope the Boks win. Kaden says, big ask from Pollard. Sharon Gray watching from Pretoria. Brandy in hand, breakfast bra, anyone? The concept is making my stomach twirl a little bit. But if you're brave enough, then I back you. I back you guys. I'm sure you wouldn't be alone, actually, to be fair, if anyone does have a brandy in hand for breakfast. It is the South African way. And yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be, at the end of the day, we have to pitch up today. We can't leave 10 points out. We can't botch any tries. We pretty much have to put in the perfect performance for the next 3 weeks. And it doesn't get much easier, really, does it? Because first of all, Australia are going to be a lot more confident than they were last week. I think they probably would have walked into last week thinking that they can do it, but they wouldn't have that sort of fundamental belief that they know exactly how to do it. I think now this weekend, I think they'll have that belief, and they'll think, all we have to do is what we do last week, and we come away with a good result. So it was a big moment last weekend. I think a bit of a watershed moment for the Australians, because after having sort of 3 back-to-back losses against New Zealand, despite trying to play some nice rugby, despite trying to sort of bring this attacking brand, they didn't get any results from it. And then last weekend, they finally sort of got a result from it, even though they didn't actually really score. I mean, they only scored 1 try. So I think people are getting a little bit too sort of hung up on the Springbok game plan versus the Wallabies game plan. At the end of the day, their game plan was trying to keep ball in hand, use their wings, scored 1 try. Our game plan scored 3 tries. So what do you really want to do across the game? What was quite interesting yesterday was when Zandile Stick was being asked about the tactics and whether we will see the Springboks, keep ball in hand a bit more, and we will see them move around. And he said that they've got the license to do that. He says it comes down to what the team decides on the day. There are situations where they've said, you can run to the wings, hands, stuff like that. And he made a very good point. He said, if you look at Makazole Mapimpi's try scoring record, you don't get that sort of try scoring record if the wings don't get any ball at all. And he's got a fair point, to be fair. You know, you look at the British and Irish Lions tour, and everyone was just saying it's such a bad brand of rugby, and yet, you know, you look at the try scores, Michael Zulema, Pimpy, Ches and Colby, compared to the British and Irish Lions, who scored off mauls. So yeah, but I think it's just a very tiring debate. And I see Clive Woodward has jumped out again and said, "Oh, we're killing rugby, and you know it's just not attractive and it's so boring." I mean, I really don't have any time for people. I mean, somebody with a coaching record like that is the last person that should probably be talking about boring rugby. You know, maybe if he had played a bit more of a boring rugby, he might have had a job for a little bit longer. Java Guru says Quay Cooper is very mature now. My bet is that he will play with perfection again. Yeah, he's a class act is Quay Cooper. He's always had the ability to be able to turn a game on its head and be able to win a game for his side when he does play well. So the Springboks could do very well by trying to sort of put him off his game a little bit. I think that would go a long way towards getting that sort of final result. If we try and sort of put Quay Cooper under pressure quite early and not let him settle, that'll be a big moment in trying to sort of win the early sort of battles early on. And to be fair, if you go back a week ago, we started off pretty well. You know, it's we had a couple of kick chases that we won back. We had a couple of decent early penalties. We had some momentum. We just didn't really kick on. Discipline was a bit of an issue. They've mentioned it all week long over the Springboks. They've talked about how their discipline was a little bit off and they'd like to improve their discipline. So it will be interesting to sort of see if they do. And not necessarily in terms of amount of penalties conceded, but where they're conceding it, the type of penalties they're conceding. You know, a week ago conceding a lot of offside penalties, which is very uncharacteristic. And those are sort of penalties where you have to force the error, really do. You know, it's frustrating when you do see offside penalties because we shouldn't really be seeing offside penalties. It shouldn't really be something that, not the way we were conceding, but they have raised them as well, the validity of those offside penalties. So I think the things that the Springboks were sort of raising to the officials were the lazy runners that Australia were sort of putting in place to the blockers to try and change lanes, to try and take out the Springbok runner and make the kicks non-contest. They were raising sort of the scrums towards the end there, you know, whether they had dominance or not. They were raising a bit of the breakdown work in terms of Australia coming in from the side. And they were raising sort of the offside line and a little bit of consistency from that. Whether they have got license to do that in terms of whether they've got any proof or stuff like that, that's up to the referee's interpretation. But when you do highlight these areas, it means that the referees will have to look at them this weekend. They can't ignore it. They will be sitting there every single time the kick chase. They will be thinking, right, are there lazy runners? Are they changing the lines as the Springboks have raised? You know, are they right in saying that, or do they not have a point? So it just puts sort of the message in the back of the mind. I think that's the main reason about when it comes to the feedback. You're not necessarily going to sit. Feedback isn't there to say you got all of this wrong. It's more about just sort of raising those issues and making sure those are what they're looking out for throughout the match. So it will be interesting to see sort of the interpretation in there and what we sort of see changing for today's officiating. But Joe, let me know if you have any score predictions to start getting those in the comments as well. Craig Dudgeon says, good morning, guys, from Orkney. Boca to win 27-18. Crowd Swat says, so Clive is a box. Cooper the Pooper, says Bianca. Paul Clive is still coming from the Sarries Quins game last night. So I say, Bristol, correct yourself this team, Edinburgh. Kenny Queen says, hate to rub it in further, Stephen Bell, but I've got 2 tickets for Munster versus Stormers. Have some oh my goodness. Oh no, my mate last night was saying that he might be going through the Belfast later in the month to go in October to go and watch Lions versus Ulster, which I'm not happy about. Michael Hooper never released a tackle player before going for the steal. Yeah, something I was saying quite a lot last weekend. The fact was, did he ever release? And Kevin said it's a must win at all costs. Springboks can definitely do it. Yeah, at the end of the day, we can do it. It's whether we will do it. You know, I suppose. Without trying to sort of sound. What's the word? I've lost it. Anyway, so let's sort my sound out and get our stream sorted. Oh, that's a good start. Please connect your... Oh, my goodness me. Right, I shall return. I need to sort my TV out. In the meantime, get the score predictions down in the comments below. And I'll be back in just a few minutes. So don't go away. And we're about 15 minutes away from kickoff, so we've still got a little bit of time. When I come back, we'll go through the teams and talk about what we can expect from today. But I just need to go sort of a few things out with the TV and stuff. Oh, wait. Nice, yeah. Let me go sort that out. Get your score predictions in the comments below, and then we'll go through the teams and chat about what we can expect over the next sort of 2 hours. We're back. Sorted, got the TV sorted, got everything in there, got the panel having a chat over there. So, since I missed who we've got some score predictions over here. Kenny King says, I understand you want some photos, Stephen. How do I send them to you? There on the screen there, Stephen at foreversports.net's probably the easiest way to do that. We'll chuck some photos up on the channel. It'll be cool to see some of the fans out and about in the various stadiums. Right. James Peters says not digging his early morning kickoffs. Agreed. It's Saturday. It's been a long week, and I actually quite fancy a bit of a lion today, but not to be. James Peters saying box by 5. Kieran Anderson says come on, Boca. Kenny Cooney says very excited. Grant, however, had better be good as they were very pricey. Yeah, look, that's what my mate was saying, that he might have to rethink going because he said it is a little bit expensive. Rednall Players Good Morning says 49-0 to the box. That's a huge call. I hope you're right. I would be surprised if that is the case. Wolfman says 26-13 to the box. Right, so in terms of the teams for the day, this is how both sides will line up. Michael Hooper bringing up a milestone. He's now the most capped Wallabies captain, has led the Wallabies the most time in history. So it's a pretty big moment for him. And in terms of the teams, where am I? Here I am. Right, so we'll start with the Wallabies side, who obviously are the home side today. Although I think last week we were officially the home side, in theory. Tom Banks, Andrew Kellaway, and Marika Korobeti is the back 3 for today for the Wallabies. In the midfield, it is Len Iketal and Samu Karevi. I thought was very good last weekend. Then you've got Quade Cooper with a new scrum off inside him as Nick White comes off the bench. The loose trio is unchanged from last weekend. It is Rob Valentini, Michael Hooper, as well as Lachlan Swinton, who I thought was actually quite lucky not to get a yellow card last game for that tackle against Evan Etzebeth. Matt Phillip and Isaac Rodder are an unchanged lock combination, but then Tanilo Tupou comes in as well as James Slipper, and they partner for Lau Fainga in the front row. Off the bench for the Australians, Fletty Katu, the young hooker, Angus Bell, and Tom Robertson is the front row. Then Darcy Twain comes onto the bench, Pete Samu is remain, and then you've got Tate McDermott who ships down to the bench, and Reece Hodge as well as Jordan Pettier is the other reserve backline players. For the Springboks today, not too many changes either. It's a completely unchanged backline, so we will see Vili Leroux, Spur Nkosi, Makazolo Mapimpi as the outside 3. Lekanya Amdane and Delindi are in the centres, as you would come to expect. And then Andre Paulo, Faf de Klerk do start again. Andre Paulo, quite a big game for him, under a little bit of pressure in terms of his goal kicking, but something he needs to try and put right quite quickly. The loose trio of Dwayne Vermeer and Franco Moss and Sia Khaleesi continues. In the new lock combination today, they played at school together. Now they're playing for the Springboks together. It is Marvin Orie and Eben Etzebeth in the second row. And then you've got Francois Herbert, Bongi Manambi, Trevor Nyakani comes into the side and will start at loosehead today. And then off the bench, the bomb squad, the big players need to make an impact coming into the second half. Malcolm Marks, who's been doing that for quite regularly. Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch is the front row. And then the three loose forwards in the bomb squad, quite a different bomb squad to what we're used to seeing. Malcolm Verstappen, Kwacha Smith, and Jasper Wiese are those players. And then Herschel Yankees and Damian Willemse continue to be the the scrum half and utility back options off the bench. Those are how the teams are lining up. What are your thoughts on the team? Did we want to see more changes? Do we back these guys to be able to get the job done? Are you worried about injury and stuff like that because we haven't rotated so much? Let me know what you think. The referee today is Matthew Carley from England. He'll be assisted by Luke Pierce and Graham Cooper, and the TMO today will be Brett Cronin. Just about 9 minutes to go until kickoff. The side should be out quite soon. So not much longer to go. All wild with VPN fiber connection is great. Good to hear. Are you excited for URC next week? I'm so excited. I think URC is going to be so much fun because we've been watching South Africa versus South African teams for more than a year now, and it's just getting a little bit stagnant. I mean, we literally had 4 competitions when you think about it. 5 almost if you count the preparations there. Not that there was a trophy, but we had Super Rugby Unlocked, we had Curry Cup 1, we had Curry Cup 2, we had Rainbow Cup SA, and this preparation series. So we've just seen so much of Sharks versus Sharks, Bulls versus Bulls. It'll be really nice to just get back to playing somebody new, and I'm keen to be able to play against some international players. Hamish Watson and George North and all these sort of type players. These are some of the players we're going to be playing up against in the URC, and I'm excited. I'm even excited to watch the Munster Leinster games with a bit of investment. We've obviously seen these games over the year, but we haven't really been invested. It's sort of more, Leinster's playing Munster, that's cool. Whereas now we're like, all right, Leinster's playing Munster, they're this in the log, we're this, who are the players we need to watch out for. I see we've got a pretty decent contingent of Springboks supporters over there, as you would imagine. Good on the those people coming out and showing the support. Hopefully they make their presence known. And then we got where we. This is no Alton jokes today. If Springboks lose, then lose number 1 spot. Yeah, so they've got literally everything to play for. And it was interesting that Steve Khaleesi was saying he didn't actually realize that they could lose the spot. And they actually, when they told them in the press conference, that was the first time he'd actually realized it. So obviously they're not worrying too much about that. But at the end of the day, he says, at the end of the day, all they have to do is win. If they win, they don't have to worry, which is pretty right. Sasha says, go Bokke. Kwasi, good morning. Morning State should have been on the bench, he reckons. He said, Sasha says, am I scared? Am I nervous? Australia are good. Esukivo says, Alton should have been on the bench. Marketing for URC has been on point. It's a really, really cool brand. And we've got more press conference stuff coming from the URC in the next sort of day or two. We've got Hamish Watson's coming out tomorrow. We've got a couple of the Welsh players, likes of Reece Webb. I think Josh Turnbull's coming out, I think today. So keep an eye on that. So we've got a whole lot of URC build-up over the next couple of days. And then we've got we're going to be in a monthly press conference on Tuesday, so that's really quite cool. Then obviously we're doing previews of all the URC teams over sort of the next week, basically. So just telling you, going through all the squads, players to watch out for, and stuff like that. Mike Hammond says it'll take 1 good tackle to scare Craig Cooper. How do we watch URC with VPN? So I'll do a preview. I'll do a video on how to watch the URC. There are a couple of games being shown on some free-to-air broadcasters in, I think it's Ireland and Wales. A couple of matches. So I'll do a video on that. There's also URC TV, which is a bit pricey, but with a VPN you could then buy the entire season and watch all 144 matches using that URC TV function. Which is only available, I think it's like Asia, America, Ireland, and I think it's available in other parts of Europe as well. But Kelly Cruz's unpopular opinion, Willie Leroux is overrated. How he's still playing for SA, I'll never know. He should be taken up Fassi or Dave Creel. Good morning, Mark Julian Lee. Used to say start with Malcolm Marks. Will turn off Oz commentary is painful. Not the cost of coverage, the €120 for a season pass. That's nuts. Yeah, I saw it yesterday, because I thought it was a really cool concept. Then I saw the price, and I'm like, gee, that's me. But I suppose, as a South African, if you don't pay for any streaming service or whatever, then €120 is less than paying DSTV for the next sort of 9 months, which would be about 9,000 Rand. It was ludicrous, the cost of all this. That says, you're my company for the match, Steve. Well, you guys are all my company. If you're in the UK, it's on Sky Sports. It's Kwasi. Malcolm is the man. If Polly kicks shit again, the Alton hates so much, then shut up forever. No, you got to back him. You got to back. So Andre Pollard has been back today to do the job. So we're going to get behind him. Obviously, I think he will respond. The issue is not ever that he won't respond. The problem is if he's in a bad patch of form, how long can you persist with him? At the end of the day, you got the All Blacks who Bowden Barrett doesn't start all the time. He's a 2-time World Player of the Year. They do select on form. And at the end of the day, I mean, people say it's one bad match. I don't think it's quite one bad match. I don't think we've seen the Andre Pollard from the 2019 World Cup yet this season. I thought he wasn't particularly good in the first British and Irish Lions test, probably a little bit better in the second. But I think Finn Russell in that last British and Irish Lions test was the standout 10 from the Lions tour, really, which sort of shows you that no one has really sort of stood up and been counted yet. Here come the Australians. Michael Hooper leading them out for a record 60th time. Apparently 40,000 people expect to stay in the crowd. I mean, when we get back to South Africa stadiums, we're going to get a lot more. I see quite a few empty seats there. Quite a lot of box supporters, which is quite good to see. So hopefully, you are very loud, Owen. So where are we? Bankley, do you think that the URC is long and that people will lose interest? No, I think that we've got so many different teams that I think we'll be fine, to be honest. And I think as soon as you start bringing in the European Challenge Cup and stuff like that, then I think it becomes obviously a lot more watchable in terms of a lot more at stake and stuff like that. So I think it'll be okay. I'm excited for it. I think that I'm kind of bored of these sort of very short competitions where there's not much sort of reward if you don't win the first couple of games. So it's a bit like watching the Premier League, I suppose. Do you get bored of the English Premier League, because it's technically it's about the same sort of length? And the answer is no, really. It's about building a very long season, which is quite cool. So it says, Mr. South Africa man, you'll clutch it for us. I hope so. Martin says, Aussie commentary like using sandpaper instead of toilet paper on the bum. Mike Cameron says, I'm in the UK, but I don't watch TV. Catch up on the highlights. Well, URC TV will be showing will be making full match replays available, which is quite cool of them. So if you don't get to watch the game live, you can watch it on the next day or whatever. Kevin says, why keep playing Pollard if he struggles? Doesn't make sense. How old is Pollard? He's 28, I think, 27. We're missing P. Steph Toy, no doubt. We will win 100%, says Yusuf. Henrico says, I'll predict the score after the match. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see crowds in the stadium. It would be so nice to see packed stadiums, wouldn't it? South African Anthem is underway, which means the kickoff is just a few minutes away. We are 2 minutes away, technically, from kickoff. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what your score predictions are. We are very, very close. We are. I mean, we're 22 people away from hitting 7,000 subscribers. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, please do go and subscribe so that we can try and push through that 7,000 mark. We've been in and around there for a while, so it'll be nice to just get past that 7,000. So please do smash a like. Please do subscribe to the channel. Right, let's get our scoreboard up and get prepared for kickoff. Where is my scoreboard? Where is my scoreboard? There it is. Should we bounce back today? Ken says, paying for a bloody Nelson Mandela Cup today. We can't lose trophy named after our own president. Let's go, boys. Yeah, agreed. That's funny. That's all the sort of small trophies as well, which are always up for grabs. It's not just the rugby championship. Obviously, those are sort of the major trophies. But it's nice to just sort of be able to tick those sort of things off the list and be able to sort of add those to the collection. Tomorrow says subscribe just now, long overdue though. Yeah, don't be a lurker and don't subscribe. If you're gonna hang out with all of us, officially become part of the community and hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can push. Let's see if we can push over to that 7,000 subs mark today, and then we need to keep pushing because you don't know. I mean, somebody reckons we're gonna get to 10,000 by the end of the year, which I think is being very ambitious. But you never know. You never know. With some big streets, stuff like that, we can try and maybe push past those sort of barriers. Right, we now got the Australian national anthem, and then we are on Away, Kevin says, where's Springbok jersey? Yeah, I meant to sort out my green screen stuff by today, and I forgot. And it's actually quite chilly, to be honest. It's a bit of a cold day up here in Joburg. It's actually like iffy weather, where it's not like cold, it's not particularly warm. Very, very warm week ahead. Summer is definitely starting to settle in, but it was a bit chilly when I woke up this morning, so I went with the jersey. Probably be sweating with the nerves soon. There's not an opera song, yeah, but the Australians always seem to have that sort of type of spin on it. Look, it could be worse. Nothing will ever top the guy that we had during France 2007. So let's take what we can get, because that was an absolute shocker of a national anthem performance. Right, almost there, almost time for kickoff. Can we do it? Can we keep our rugby championship hopes alive? I don't see Argentina doing a favor later, but it would be massive if they could. If we manage to win today and Argentina suddenly managed to come out with a big result, then the rugby championship suddenly flies wide open. Also, you're going to show the game. No, we can't show any match footage, unfortunately. But if you want to watch the game, go and check out. We've got a video on how you can watch it using ExpressVPN on a free-to-air broadcaster. You can go check that on the channel to go and watch it. But I cannot show any match footage. I mean, we got blooming flagged last week by Sanzar, despite not showing any match footage. So, yeah, it's gone really well that regard. And then you email them saying that you're doing. You were wrong. And do they respond to you? No. Are they ever accountable for their actions? No. Shamangi is very, very loud compared to all the other commentators. I'm going to need you to calm down over there, mate. Misty and Muggy here. Smokchilini Brian, she says our discipline will cost us again. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope that we put that right. Just getting ready for kickoff here. Right, we've got kickoff. Quay Cooper goes to the left, and it's a early touch under the ball for Dwayne Vermeulen. It's a nice take from him off the start. And as you imagine, Faf de Klerk goes to the boot immediately. And first things first, what we would have thought, who would have thought the first kick, the first penalty for blocking the kick chase. So it's worked. They asked them to look out for it. They were doing it a lot last weekend, changing lanes. And the first kick we have, and they've won a penalty for changing the lane, taking out Eben Etzebeth. That's a big moment in the game, actually, because it's something that we didn't get much reward from last weekend. And Andre Pollard immediately kicked us into Australian territory between the 10 meter and 22. You can see he completely takes them out. They were doing it all of last week, and that was clear as day. So that was a very easy penalty to award. Anthony Davis says Pollard, Faf, and Sanders need to bring the backs more into play with less box kicking and more ball in hand position is the key, especially with a strong forward pack. Go Barker forever. Right, so first line there goes to Marvin Ori. Good to see them being used. And see if Lisi breaks off for Franco Mostert. So no rolling more. So immediately ball in hand, change of tactics. Are we going to see it today? Another carry there for Marvin Ori. Solid him and Eben Etzebeth, the two schoolway buddies. Boom, under Pollard. To Willie Leroux, little chap in behind there. It's well read by Kellaway, who's now trying to get himself out the 22. He's brought down by Dwayne Vermeulen on the 22. So losing possession. They're not sure the kick was the best option. Maybe should have tried to kick in for touch, put them under a bit of pressure. But Quay Cooper in the pocket. Kicks it quite deep. It's not going to go out. Kept alive by Pollard, who's in the middle of the park, who's shaping for it up and under. He's asking Willie to chase. It's quite deep from Pollard. In fact, I think it's far too. Oh, no, it's just behind the 22. Quay Cooper gets hit by Willie Leroux, doesn't manage to make the tackle, gets the pass away to Karevi, who's brought down by France Maherba. Australia with possession just up above their 22. Right, I mean, these numbers on Australia are horrendous. You can't see what any of the numbers are. So if I get the names wrong, apologies. Right, Quay Cooper in the pocket. And it's a penalty for offside. That's pretty sloppy from the Springboks. Trying to sort of put them under pressure there and just straying offside. Faf de Klerk's the one who's being penalised there. But a decent stop, South Africa. Nice to see they are keeping a bit more ball in hand there. And then Lewis sort of tapping it. But Faf de Klerk just going a bit too quickly there towards Quay Cooper, giving away the penalty. And it's those sort of penalties we need to cut out because those are unnecessary. Obviously it's all very nice to you want to put pressure on early and you want to sort of get in their face and make an impact, but those are just frustrating penalties to give away. Renal places last week, Oz played really well and SA played poorly. If the Boks play slightly better, then this should be a win. Not quite sure what the hold-up is. I think we're waiting for a ball. So already we've seen a little bit of variation from the Springboks off the line. There was no more anything like that. Sierklisi broke immediately, bringing in Franco Mostert. We then saw Damien Delinde going to Andre Pollard behind him at first receiver or second receiver. So for everybody that kept saying we want to keep ball in hand, well, we've already seen it once in the first 3 minutes. So hopefully that bodes well for a bit of a change throughout the A team. Australia are now in South African territory on the 10-meter line. It's an uncontested line out. They are looking, but they do use it. And Karevi's broken the line, and he's been brought down by Mapimpi and Pollard, but Australia up to the 22, looking for the blind side now. They've got numbers, and they ball inside. And the offload eventually goes forward, thank goodness. I think Fainga there, the ball going forward, but that was some very nice play there. Karevi making the line break there. He's made another break like that, and the offload game was very strong from the Australians. Missed tackle from Franco Mostert. You don't see that particularly often, and sort of Makazulu Mapimpi starts to tackle Pollard. Completes it, then inside ball. Really nice continuity there from the Australians. And just that offload over here, not quite going to hand, the ball going forward there. So you will have a scrum here. So first scrum of the day. A bit of early warning signs there from the Australians in terms of what they can do. Last week, Australia won 83% of their own scrums. Oh, the ball's gone down. We will have a reset scrum here. As Kevin says, hopefully no cars today. Agree, Kevin, agree. It just ruins the game, doesn't it? Big game for Trevor Nikani, back and starting at loosehead. Hasn't started loosehead for quite a long time. He's been coming off to the bench to very good effect, though. So hopefully we'll see a similar sort of performance from him. It's a pretty messy scrum, so I think we have a reset there as well. So timing lost 2 resets here so far. Not that we're very surprised. Nice little advertising there for Adidas 80 zeros. I hate a reset scrum. Hate it. You lose far too much time to reset scrum. It's very frustrating. And it's a penalty to the Springboks. Yeah, I think it's gone against Jay Slipper there. He lost his bind. So there is the penalty asking for Des Organ. It is eventually awarded. I think it's actually against Tupou on the other side there. Well, that's 2 early penalties from the Springboks and 3 penalties so far in the game itself. But that's a nice way to start the game in terms of your scrummaging. Yeah, you can see it is against Slipper. His elbow goes straight down to the ground. And Tupou as well, potentially scrumming in as well from the looks of that. So thankfully we can boot our way up and get away from the game. As regards to scrums, Steve, I hate reset scrums. I hate it so much. Just get on with it. Let's see the players play. Right, Marvin Ory at the front of the line-out. This time I think we are looking to set the rolling more here. Initial momentum is a bit backwards, but now fighting to try and find some sort of ascendancy. There comes the call to use it once. Faf de Klerk comes in. We're going to see a box kick here quite soon, I reckon. They're still going forward now, are the Springboks. Penalty advantage as well now. So David Delende takes in. Outside ball to Pollard. Pollard goes to Willie LaRue. Willie LaRue goes straight to Spoon Corsi. Spoon Corsi cuts inside. Almost a little bit of obstruction there from Billy LaRue. Available for Faf de Klerk, who goes, it's a pretty poor pass, goes to Pollard, who then goes back. We all move back to the penalty. Well, everyone complains about our wings never getting the ball, but there we go. Damon Lendy going straight to Pollard, going to Billy LaRue and Spiro Corsi. So really an early touch to the ball. You can see trying to sort of keep ball in hand now that we had the penalty advantage. Yeah, I mean, Spiro Corsi just slipping as he tried to sort of cut inside there, and then the pass from Faf de Klerk off the base of the ruck didn't quite go to hand, but a penalty advantage from the Maul, so that's nice for set piece wise, to win a penalty at the at the scrum time, then set up a rolling Maul, win a penalty from that, kick yourself further into sort of danger territory, and you're going to be able to have another go at the Australians. Mark Giuliani says nipping shores here. You says, mate, there's no way we can get some visuals. No, I can't show any match footage, or I will be shut down very quickly. How does one judge the tempo of a team? I don't know. I suppose I don't know what the sort of the measure is. Supersport's having a mare here. We've got both sets of commentary coming through. Right, so we got up to 22. It's an easy kick from Banja Pollard, so it's a nice attacking opportunity here from the Springboks. Bongi Manambi needs to find his man. They do go to Marvin Orie once again. It's a massive counter shove there from Australia. And Fia Khaleesi has to use it, almost loses the ball, but does manage to maintain it. So not a particularly good more set from the Springboks, but they do have possession still. They go to Eben Etzebeth, who puts his head down. It's a solid carry from him. Faf de Klerk now going to Billy LaRue. Billy LaRue tripping over the top. It'll bounce. It'll bounce. I think it's a penalty to Springbok. I don't know if we actually had an advantage there. I didn't see much of an advantage. I don't know if it's offside there. But Billy LaRue trying to chip and chase, something a bit different. Winning the penalty, so we'll be able to kick towards the 5 meter. Yeah, I was taking the man out early in the ball. I didn't see a penalty advantage being given, but that's where the penalty is from. So, yeah, well, there we go. There we go. See, we've seen a chip and chase. We've seen people going down to the wing. Is this what everyone wanted to see? Are we all happy now? Are we happy that we see a bit more of our back climb? But now we're going to see our pack because Andre Pollard's going to kick this into the corner. And then we're going to set up our Maul. Anthony Davis is coming in from New Zealand. GHB says, how quickly the ball comes out of the ruck. Kevin says, I don't think New Zealand are going to slip up. They seem doing well. Grant Swat says, Billy passed a little bit too early. I think he needed to suck in a bit and create more space for Spiro Corsi. But look, we haven't done it in a while, so a bit rusty. Beck says, you start with a slow dance and then add alcohol. And Christ is happy so far. Front of the line, Marvin Orie once again. Early shove, but they break away. There's Eben Etzebeth, who's eventually brought down and crawling. Eben Etzebeth. That's so frustrating. Why do that? So it was a massive more shove from the Wallabies. And then Eben Etzebeth deemed crawling on the ground. If he just placed it there, and he would have been fine, but he has that extra crawl, which you're not allowed to do, and it's given away a penalty. That's really, really poor. Such a good attacking position, such a nice position to be in. And there's no need for that. There was no need. I mean, that extra half meter is not going to make much of a difference, mate. So can we just not do that? So Australia kick. It's not a particularly good quick kick from Kwaku, but didn't have much of an angle to work with. So they're not out of danger yet. They're on the 22, so the Springboks will be able to contest this, but that's a big chance going Megan, to be honest. If you just gone to the ground, recycle possession, be a bit more patient. Right, they're going to the back of the Wallabies. Marvin Orie goes up, but he will not take it. Michael Hooper goes back to the pocket. And Nick White will launch it downfield. Makazole Mapimpi is retreating. Inside to Billy LaRue. Billy LaRue, I'm sure, will put this into the air and ask Makazole Mapimpi to chase. He runs through 2 Australian players. He does get there and makes a tackle on Nick White. They're trying to hold him up here. They're trying to hold him. He's got Franklin Mostert as well. I think more's been called because his knees are on the ground. And so I think it's going to be a turnover ball here from the Australians if they can get their hands in there. Dwayne Vermeulen's not got his big mitts in there. But it does become available for Australia eventually on the halfway line. Kwaku quite back, kicks over the top down the middle of the park. Has split the 2 players in half with Billy LaRue and Andre Pollard. Billy LaRue looking for a touch finder. He doesn't find touch on the 15th, so now it's inside ball from the Banks. Big tackle there on him from Mostert, but Australia up to the 22. Quick ball from Nick White to Tupou. Bounce away from Bongi Manambi. Misses the tackle. He's brought down by Eben Etzebeth, who can't roll, and it is a penalty advantage. So this could be the first points of the game, to be honest. And then Faf de Klerk can't do that at all. So penalty to Australia. It's a very kickable position there. They kick from Veliru. They probably need to find touch. Oh, come on, mate. Well, Faf de Klerk's been carded. I mean, he did play offside, but I wouldn't say it's cynical. That's a very, very harsh yellow to give so early in the game. Look, I mean, it's stupid by Faf de Klerk, but to go to a yellow already for that, that's a big precedent that's been set then. So, after all that, the positive start there, now down to 14 men again are South Africa. Just need to add that yellow card. Wallabies have broken through almost here. Michael Hooper almost going through there. Bongi Manambi eventually bringing him down. Australia on the doorstep here. Slipper brought down. Sorry, Rada. Flat ball there. Valentini, well, that's a try. That is so poor. The tackling there was non-existent. Australia are over, and the Springboks, that's a shambles. That's a shambolic effort to try and tackle. There must have been about 3 or 4 missed tackles. In fact, I want to check the tackles at the moment because we have missed our first time tackling a lot this today. I don't know what the issue has been. But who's missing tackles here? Boom, Andre Pollard misses it, then Marvin Orie misses it. That's such poor defending. Andre Pollard has to make this tackle. He doesn't. It's Ikatar burst straight through. Marvin Orie also doesn't make the tackle, and he's over. It's simple. First time tackling. And that was non-existent there. Pollard has to make that tackle. And Marvin Orie has to make that tackle. That is terrible. 14 men. Australia break through. They've got points on the board. Not a good start. Savage, I've told you there's a video on the channel which explains how you can watch it. Go and check it. It's called just go check on the channel. Also in the description we've got all the links to watch all the links to go and watch it. All the different broadcasters and stuff. Now I want to bring up the stats here because I reckon we've missed about 7 or 8 tackles already today. Not the start we would have wanted. And frustrating because 5 minutes ago we were on the doorstep and we'd won back-to-back penalties and we were in a position and strength. And now all of a sudden we're down to 14. We're 5 points behind. And Craig Cooper has pulled that, so that's not a particularly good kick from him. So the scoreboard will remain at 5-0. So that's a bit of a get out of jail free in terms of the extra 2 points. Not a particularly good kick from Quaid. But Andre Pollard, who's under the microscope a little bit, is not a particularly good way to try and get yourself away from that by missing that tackle. Right, kickoff goes down to the right up against the touchline. It is Corey Betty underneath it. Spoon Corsi is there, but he went around and went into Franco Moss and Ibn Etzebeth. Back to Quay Cooper in the pocket. Quay Cooper does look for touch. It's a very nice touch finder right on the halfway line there. We will not take it quickly. We'll restart with the line out. Desmond says, just a quick point. Oz players leaving and rejoining the ruck. Pollard slipped. Doesn't matter if he slipped. He missed the tackle. Tackles success over here. Springboks 47%. You see, we've missed 9 tackles so far out of 17. That's poor. That's piss poor, to be honest. So not a good start. Not a good start from the staff because we've got to get better at our tackling at the moment. I don't know what's gone on there. Very uncharacteristic of us. We've got a moment at the front of the line out. Looking for the rolling more. You've got to try and keep it tight for the next sort of 5 minutes until we get Faf de Klerk back. Really, we're not operating at scrum half. Well, we do burst through with the maul, but we've left the ball behind. We've gotten a penalty advantage here, which is quite useful. Vililu trying to search for the ball there to try and use it. Dwayne Vermeulen moving a couple of players. I mean, they just lying there with the ball in hand there. So we do get the penalty, which is useful. We can try and wind the clock down, kick towards touch, and step another rolling more because we need to try and wait till we get Faf de Klerk back. I mean, Faf de Klerk is such a key player to be missing. Not only, obviously as your scrum half, but somebody who's so important in terms of the defensive system and how we sort of work with our rush defense. So it's a big man to lose. We've got 5 minutes left on the clock for him. And if we can get there, look, if we can score a try here and try and get things back to even by the time Q comes back on, then hopefully not too much damage made. Owen says we should alternate against the Aussies, just saying we just seem to do better with him against them, part against the All Blacks. Brimish, I told you, just indisciplined Springboks will cost him the game. For Faf de Klerk sent to the Ben Australia score. I predict Aussie win today 24-12. Bongi Manambi is down and receiving some treatment. Doesn't look too serious. So I think he will be able to continue. We've got timers off. Pollard's got the kicking tee in hand, so we're actually going to run the clock down a little bit and try and put some points on the board. Richard Corvette says, question, do we miss Rusty's input? I mean, I think that he's giving input anyway. I think with the modern world, with the way that we can do video call stuff like that, I mean, Jacques Ninoba was talking about the fact that he's basically there. It's like he's there anyway. Because he's giving I don't know if he's giving feedback in real time now. I don't know if he's sitting there with his on a Zoom call. It could very well be, to be fair. He could be watching the game. There's no reason he couldn't be watching the game right now and could be on a call with all the staff having a chat. So I don't know if that's the case. Right, big moment, Joe. Andre Pollard's first shot at goal. See, his career accuracy 74%. I said the other day, and I got slammed for it, I said he's never been a particularly good goal kicker percentage-wise. Had a very good 2019 World Cup. But that's much better. Curls it inside, straight down the middle. That's the Andre Pollard we know. 3 more points back there. Big moment for him after missing that tackle. So he needs to make sure he slotted that kick. So that's a nice confidence booster there from Pollard. Jacques Ninoba doesn't look happy, as he shouldn't be. James says, lineouts are operating, would have gone for the and run the clock down more and gone for the try. Good kick, though. Well, it's good to see that we're using Marvin Ori the specialist. We'll go straight down the throat of Dwayne Vermeulen, who makes a solid catch there. Deep into our 22. So 5-3, 4 minutes left on the clock until we get Faf de Klerk back. Trevor Nyakani with the carry there. Oh, he's lost the ball forward from it, so that's not particularly good from the prop there. And have we conceded possession, or is it going to go for the scrum? I think we go for the scrum, yeah. No, we've got an advantage. I'm not sure if it's a penalty advantage or if it's a knock-on advantage. That's a big hit from Dwayne Vermeulen, came off his line. Floated pass out to Corey Betty. Corey Betty steps inside to Pollard. He makes the tackle, and Lukanya grabs his other leg. And a penalty. So that's what we saw last week. The same thing when it comes to flipping, retaking the kicks. You can't, off the kickoff, concede a penalty. It's such poor game management. You go and score points. You run the clock down. You've done everything right. And then you can see the penalty right after the kickoff. It's so poor. And Australia have gone for the corner. So it's not a good start here from the Springboks, who managed to get some points back on the board. Right now they need defenders. They go to the front of the line to the Australians, and it's immediately gone quite to the left. Cooper's had to break off, and Khaleesi's read it very well. Open over the ball. The ball pops back, so it's not a particularly good ball. Therefore, Karevi, who does get wrapped up by Damien Delindi. Good awareness there from Khaleesi to see that Michael Hooper had broken off and apply a bit of pressure. So the Australians back up to the 22. Just inside 22 now. Outside ball there to Tupou. Is brought down. No, he's not brought down. It's another missed tackle. He burst through. Spoon Corsi over that ball, and he's conceded the penalty advantage right in front of the poles. So if this isn't a try, which it could be, Corey Betty and over in the corner. Box defense nowhere. Another try for Australia. Ekatal's got a double. He's got a brace in the opening 20 minutes, and it's 10 points to 3. There was a penalty advantage right in front. So discipline, tackling, not looking good at the moment from the Springboks. Really, really poor start from the South Africans. And we've got a huge, huge effort ahead. Oh, my word. I mean, we can't lose another game. Surely I'm not going to start my weekend like this. Surely not. Dear, goodness me. Lion Base, how you doing, man? Just coming. How's the game looking? Terrible, terrible. Mark said, this is such cuck rugby. How have we become so shit in such a short space? Let's just calm down a little bit. I mean, I agree it's not good, but early days, hopefully. Stephen, was the first 17 minutes been because I was at the rugby match? Terrible, terrible. The ref, you'd keep an eye on odds at ruck time. Yeah, we are seeing a couple of interesting things happening there. Marcus says, ever watched your team and thought we deserve to lose one? Why all this ill discipline? Quasi he has done. What's tackling percentage under 14 now? Probably, to be honest. They became too big for their head. That's 70% who picked South Africa. Yeah, look, it's not a good start. We need to put ourselves toward ourselves. The yellow card would now see at 10 points. So Faf de Klerk needs to give us a blooming storming game when he comes on. It's not a good time at the moment. And just it's the tackling which is just so poor. And I mean, it's something that we've come to pride ourselves on. And now that it's not working, it's like we're nowhere. I'm trying to sort of see the updated tackling stats. But we were up. I mean, we missed 9 tackles already, and there was at least 2 tackles missed there. So that's another blooming over. I mean, how we earned 10 minutes. We're into 22 minutes, and we've missed 10 tackles already. Over 10 tackles. This is a team that basically won all these trophies because of their defense, not conceding tries. Well, that's a hell of a kick from Craig Cooper. 12 points to 3. Faf de Klerk will be on the field, though, so at least we're back to a full contingent. But now, we talked about having to go for points and go for the try and be a bit braver. We're going to have to do it now. Yep, 9. You see, it still hasn't updated yet. It still says 9 out of 17. That's what it was earlier. Right, well, 12 points to 3. Everything to play for at the moment. I think it was another missed tackle from Andre Pollard, by the way, who's not started this game. He had a nice kick, but he's missed 2 tackles, key tackles, and build-up of tries. Spirit, of course, gets a decent kick chase, and Franco Mosser's over that ball, but gets moved quite quickly. I think you just need to slow things down a little bit, to be honest, and just go back to basics here. Quade Cooper launches that downfield. He won't find touch, so Villiers will be able to keep this inside. He's got Andre Pollard inside him. He does go to Pollard. Pollard spots a little space in behind there. It's a 50-22. If he can get that out, he does get it out. That's better. 50-22. Yeah, get the hype on. Will be a South African. This is the good use of the 50-22. You can see he saw the space immediately, kicked in deep behind there. So that's good from Pollard. So tone for that. I mean, a nice bounce of the ball as well. Bounces completely away from Kellaway. I don't think he actually realized. I think he did it afterwards and then thought, hey! Right, South African line. Can we hit back here? Faf de Klerk back on the park. Line out inside the 22. Bongi Manambi is probably going to go to the front of the line in Marvin Ori. He does go to Marvin Ori. It's an early shove there. They look across to the referee, but no penalty there, so the ball's been brought down. So Bongi Manambi takes it and goes to Damien Dealendi. Up to 22. Faf de Klerk waiting for some forwards. He goes to Trevor Nyakane. He puts his head down. Gets into the 22. Faf de Klerk now Dwayne Vermeulen goes on a bit of a run. You got Ebenezer behind him. They burst into the 22. Quick ball from Faf de Klerk to Pollard. Pollard goes himself. He's a little bit isolated. The ball bounces up there. Faf de Klerk has put it straight into Michael Hooper's hands. Australia on the break now. And thankfully, they're going back and looking at the offside, I think. Well, the pass going forward there. So that was pretty poor for Faf de Klerk. The ball sort of boxed out, and he just sort of basically tapped the ball up to try and get to the player. Michael Hooper read it very well. I think the forward pass is the core here. I think it's a penalty, actually. I'm trying to see what's going on. The camera works terrible. There's no blooming indication on the TV. What's going on here, people? Okay, so they asked him to check something. Trevor Nyakane was down. Looks like Trevor Nyakane's going to actually go for HRA here. Yeah, I also wanted to check that. So the Tiaklis has asked the referee to check the timing on the line now, because I also know that they are pushing quite early. They've been penalised already. I think Trevor's going to leave the field for an HRA. Yeah, he is on his way out. There's Trevor. So we will see Stephen Kitsoff on the park here. No, I think it is just a scrum. Right, where are we going like this? Frank says the team is mentally weak. You can just sense all over them. Aussies are the smarter, more composed team. Look, I mean, it's 24 minutes in. We score a try here. We can go to 10 points. So I'm not going to sort of make big statements like that early on here, but it's not a particularly good start. We need to try and sort of bring it all together. Marcus says Russia is the glue that holds this team together. These coaches are out of their depth. I mean, it's not like these coaches weren't around for the British and Irish Lions and stuff like that. Rusty Rasmus is still involved. He is still on phone calls. He is still talking to the team. So, yeah, let's not just throw the coaching staff under the bus because of one or two bad results when this is the same coaching staff that won us the British and Irish Lions series. Show them a little bit of respect here. Right, scrum here. It's going to the side. He's got penalty advantage as well. Faf de Klerk does use it, goes to Spoon Corsi, who knocks it 4. That's pretty poor from Spoon Corsi. But there is a penalty. So we're going to kick this to the corner now. Hopefully. Good to see us getting as penalty at scrum time. That's 2 scrums we've had and 2 penalties we've had. So Stephen Kitsar, Frans Maherbe, the Stormers, and Moggy Manambi, although he's going to the Sharks, but it is currently the Stormers' front row. And we're going to go for poles. I think with the line not working, scrum's working. Can we not just be a bit braver and go for the corner here? We keep taking the 3 and they keep taking the 5 or 7. Mathematically, we don't catch up here. So I know it's test match rugby, but just once, just go for the corner, chaps. Just once. Big moment. You see, and also, I mean, the big moment there from the scrum, they've, won the scrum. They're all hyped. I mean, we're taking the points, and look, if Pollard misses this, then we're going to be flipping. It was a nice kick early on for Pollard. Now he needs to make sure he slots this, get us to try and halve the deficit. It's very, very straightforward. It's literally about 20 meters inside. And it does curl in. So another 3-pointer to Pollard, kicking much better today. 12 points to 6. Would have liked to have seen us gone for the corner. I mean, you got to back our set piece. It is working, so why not use it a bit more? You update the clock. Right, the important thing here is to regain this kickoff and to not stuff it up. No penalties or anything conceded here. We need to exit well because we haven't done that particularly well in the last 2 games, and it has really cost us. So Faf de Klerk getting the ball to the back for that box kick. Chasing hard at Spoon Corsi. He'll go up to... Oh, and he's won it back as Spoon Corsi. That's a really, really good move from the wing there. That's what we want to see. Faf de Klerk, quick ball there to Andre Pollard. He goes wide to Villaroo joining the line. There's numbers. They go... Oh, they've got a Franco Moster who leaves it behind. I don't think it was the kindest pass. It is backwards, but he's all over the players there, Australians who are coming in and they've conceded the penalty. Can you just wake up and start playing now, man? Really? Jeepers. I mean, really, it's just after... I mean, you talk about the blooming... Another, once again, kick off, and within 3-4 minutes, we've conceded a penalty. Master just, he couldn't have dropped that. Not having a particularly good day today as Master, and it's probably our fault for singing his praises throughout the week. But the counter-rucking there from Australia was really good, and the rucking from South Africa was nowhere. So, boom, 3 points, and then we can see the penalty. And all Australia could do right now is level it up to Craig Cooper. So when we flip and get a penalty in the half, can we actually go for the line for once? Can we try go for a scrum? Can we actually try score some tries here, people? The set piece is operating really well at the moment. Let's actually start using it. Oh, this is Banks off, by the way. Yeah, Reece Hodges is going to be on. Tom Banks is left. He's cradling his, I don't know if it's collarbone or if it's a wrist there, but Reece Hodges on the field. Uncharacteristic performance from Franco Moster. You sort of wonder if a bit of fatigue is coming into it. He has played a lot of rugby in the last in this year, but I mean, yeah, not a good performance from him so far. Now Craig Cooper can try and level things up. But, I mean, it's just such a nice moment there. Spoon Corsi, boom, up, wins the ball back. Fantastic. Now we try and run the hands and then didn't knock it on, but it was completely isolated from that. Right, and Craig Cooper straight through the middle. So Springboks not being brave enough at the moment, and they just kind of, 15-6 lead. We have to go for the points now. We have to go for the tries. We need to actually start kicking to the corner and actually using our set piece. And it's early days. But this team's not playing particularly well. And what do we do if we do lose this game? As I said, it's early days, so we can still come back to win this. Spoon, of course, is chasing quite hard there, making the It's a good take there. I think it was Michael. No, I think it's Matt Phillip who took it there. But Australia have lost the set to 22. Trying to create a more. Yeah, being told to use it once. I think it's gone through the middle, and we actually won the ball back. Going through the hands. Going through the hands. Run the hands. Run the hands. Oh, that's such a good intervention there. But Lukanya up as on again. That is a brilliant. That's a try-saving tackle from Kellaway, and it's a knock-on. Oh, that was a big moment. That is a brilliant intervention from Kellaway. If he doesn't make that tackle, it's try time. He's come off his line and he's nailed Lukanya. So it's a fantastic defensive read. Good though to see that we managed to turn that ball off. Tackle in the air. Hey, we'll get the penalty as well. Well, we got to go for the flipping arm. Go for the line now. Yeah, tackle in the air. Yeah, I mean, I always find it's quite harsh when the player jumps for it. But hey, it is tackle in the air. So we've got a penalty. So Andre Pollard surely kicks us into the flipping corner. Get a try. They did point to the corner there, hey. Stop kicking for poles. We can't flip an exit. So we're going to go for another 3 points here. Chaps, have you not noticed that we've gone for 3 points? They scored 2 tries, and every single time we've regathered the kicker, we've buggered it up. Can we not? We've got the rolling more. We've got penalties at scrum time. Both times we've got this. I know it's Test match rugby. I know in Test match rugby you go for points, but just once, can we kick to the corner and score a try, please? 15-11 or 15-13 is very different to 15-9. Right, Pollard, well, you better not miss this. That's the big thing, you know. It's all very well saying we're going to go for the guaranteed points. Now, he does bring it down the middle, so his kicking best today is Pollard, but I just think that given the fact that we've exited badly twice, first time they scored, second time they took the 3 and just reduced the deficit that we just got now. But once again, going to Dwayne Vermeulen, who's a big hit from Lachlan Swinton. Right, Faf de Klerk going to the boot. So, of course, he will challenge once again, and the ball drops back towards the Springboks. So we've won possession once again. In fact, it's gone out. It'll be our line out, so that's decent exit play. We've got the line on the halfway line, but yeah, looking much better with the kick chase at the moment. Spur, of course, he's doing a lot to try and put them under pressure. His kick chase last time won the ball back, and Banks gone on there once again. Now challenging against Reece Hodge, forcing the bit of a mishap on the ball on the ground. I don't know if there was a knock on or something like that as well, but then yeah, Reece Hodge jumping on the ball with his legs out. So that's much better exit play there. Dwayne Vermeulen down, receiving some ice on his neck. Ooh, high tackle against 6 gold. This is blooming Lachlan Swinton, who got away with the yellow last weekend. That's against Dwayne Vermeulen. Ooh, it's shoulder to shoulder, I think. It's a big collision. I think this is the angle that'll show us a bit more. Ooh, it does. No, it's head on head. Head on head collision. Well, from the first angle, it didn't look too bad, but there, oh no, that's horrible. That's proper head on head stuff. You see, and he just pulls in there as well. He did this last week, and he didn't get yellow carded. I wasn't happy about it. So surely, second time's the charm, and he's going to go to the bin here. The first angle looked shoulder to shoulder, but there's no wrap there. I think it does head to head. He could be in trouble here. This could be a red, you know. He's going to get away with this, you know. He reckons it's shoulder to shoulder and rides up to the neck area. Mate, this angle you can see head-on-head collision. Surely. I wouldn't say red. I'd say yellow. Looking at that other angle, I'd say yellow. But it's head-on-head collision here, chaps. Also, you can't just run into guys and just sort of put your shoulder there. Look where his arms are. Look where his arms are. His flipping arm, he might as well put his arms in his pockets when he tackles. You can't do that. You can't run and just do that. So it's what's going to happen here. I'm very interested. I think it's the big call here. Oh, he could be red. He could be red. What card? Nah, boy, the TMO is now saying, are you happy it's head on head? I think he's off here, by the way. But it is not. I'm sorry, you can't have your hand down there. That's not a tackle. You can't just shoulder charge. He did it last week, got away with it. They've now talked about there is no mitigation. The contact is shoulder on shoulder. There's no attempt to wrap. At the same time, he's very, very upright, and it's head-on-head collision. Yellow card. Well, definitely yellow card. I don't know how, you can't boo that. It's a terrible tackle technique. It's got to be punished. Well, at least we're getting the blooming reward, because last weekend he was doing the same thing and there was no punishment whatsoever. I'm a bit confused at how he went from no mitigation to then finding mitigation. I think that's horrendous. I don't see how you can advocate for that. You know, when you look at some red cards that get given, I think that should be a red card. It's a horrendous tackle technique. What? Let's talk about it. He runs into him, drops his shoulder, puts his arm down. He's very upright in the tackle. There is head-on-head collision. So it's foul play. I don't know how they managed to talk their way down to a yellow card there. I think it's the TMO that's got involved. I think he was about to give a red card, and the TMO said, "Are you sure?" And they said, "Okay, we can have another check." So that's very frustrating. I think that's a red card. Well, they brought the maul down, yeah. So we haven't managed to get much use to our maul. Damien Delindi, that's a very strong carry from him, making a few meters over Craig Cooper. Now going to Pollard. Run the hands. The Kanya out to Vili Leroux. Trying to get outside of him. He's being brought down. Quick ball, Faf de Klerk. Almost looked a bit offside there with Australians. Very quick off the mark there. Pollard goes wide to Evan Etzebeth, who goes to Damien Delindi. He cuts inside. Shoves off one. Brought down just below the halfway line. Looking to keep ball in hand here are the Springboks. France Maherba goes to Andre Pollard. Quite lateral. Needs Vili Leroux something to straighten. Vili Leroux. Pass wide to Mapimpi. Mapimpi inside. Still going with Mapimpi. Gets past the 10-meter line. Nice continuity here from the Springboks. Going to the phase 6. Marvin Oyer will keep us nice and tight. He does. Now Faf de Klerk, kick over the top. And that'll go to... Oh, it's going to bounce just... Oh, that is superb. Superb from Faf de Klerk. It almost bounced up, but that is fantastic from Faf de Klerk. And it literally bounces just inside the flag. So the Australians right on the 5-meter. That's a really, really nice kick from Faf de Klerk. Now with 14 men, missing a Lachlan Swinton, try and compete at the line-out. We definitely, it's a 5-man line-out, so this is going to be very contestable. They go to the top there. It's a solid line there for Philip. Nick White goes to Karevi. Nick White now will find touch on the 22. That's the result we wanted. We wanted to have a line inside their territory. Big moments here. Oh, my clock's not on. Well, it was very good face play there from the box. You know, left to right, some ball in hand there. Nice kick from Faf de Klerk. Much better so far. Right. There we go. They go to Marvin Oyer once again. They've timed the hit once again quite well with the maul. So initial ball is back. And they've got their hands on Bongi Manambi, so they're going to try to use that ball, which is at the base of the ruck. It does go to Damon Delendi. That's a nice big hit on Craig Cooper once again. Quick ball, Faf de Klerk to Bongi Manambi. Big solid hit into Valentini. We've got a penalty advantage there. Sia Khaleesi, there we go. Nice carry from him. He's actually played very well today so far, Sia Khaleesi. Nice pressure from the captain. And all the hands in there. So we got a penalty right in front. We'll go for the poles, I'm sure. But this is looking better. This is looking better. Seven, Michael Hooper. As Grant says, Michael Hooper is living in an offside position. Well, I've got a bit of momentum here, chaps. I'm going to go for the points, which is a bit frustrating. I know that we're going to slowly bring the points down, but just once I would like to see us go for a try. Just once. Right, we're going for the 3. It's right in front, so this should be down to 15-12 as my stream sort of starts buckling. Hey, sort yourself out. Yeah, good. Right, if we can get some more points, I suppose if we can get another penalty, no, we can go into the half-time level with the Australians. We can find another try, but it's just worry. I mean, it's really good exit play last time, but yeah, there we go, 4 from 4. It's better from Pollard. He had a shaky start, missed 2 big tackles, so he needs a big game today. A nice 50-22 earlier. Now he's kicking off for poles. I just like us to see us be a little bit braver. You know, just back yourself once. You know. Right, deep kick down there towards Jasper. What about Jasper Wiese? Jasper Wiese on. And Dwayne is having an HIA from the yellow card incident. Faf de Klerk has kicked that very, very high. It's going to stay. It's going to be very competitive. And it does bounce back and bounces out. You see, this is what I'm saying. Oh, it's outlined. Never mind. Well, I thought it was a 1 meter line, but it will be outlined on the 10 meters, so that's much better exit play. Matthew Dick says, I would have now gone for the line of the scrum with 1 man advantage. Why don't our centers know they have to straighten up? It's not the winger's job. James Swinton has made several bad tackles that have led to Eben being going off injured last week and Dwayne going off injured this week. Surely this needs to be addressed. Agreed. Pollard the slots in them, but his kicking is very shaky. Bring back Percy. Yeah, nice to see a kicking coach there. Marvin Ori at the front of the line-out. Solid. Once again, we need a big second half. Anything less than a 10-point win will be a failure. Look, I think at this stage, we need to take the win. I'm not really too worried about margins. Hoist comes from Faf de Klerk. Spoon, of course, he is chasing hard. They can't really get into the game, but he does manage to sort of. And it's knocked on. That's very good. Spoon, of course, he's looked very, very good in the kick chase. He's bringing a lot of pressure on here, and he's forcing a lot of errors, which is much better. You know, the kicking game works if you put the pressure on. You can just see Faf de Klerk, box kick, we win the line out. Now, boom, Faf de Klerk, box kick, we win the scrum. You know, we're gaining 20 meters every single time. So it's yeah. I mean, I'm a big Spoon Corsi fan. I think he gets very hard done by in terms of the opportunity he gets, but he's just working so hard off the ball at the moment, and he's making those kick chases. And that's the whole point, you know, the idea of, kick is only as good as its chase. Well, he's showing how good the chase can be. Where are we? Grant Swart says, taking all the threes and the right thing to do if we do can have the performance in the second half. Yeah, I mean, I know it's test match rugby. I just once, just once, can we be a bit braver and just go for the corner, you know? Relax, guys. We're giving New Zealand a wrong reading. So what happened to Pollard last week? Who knows? I think most people like Corsi. I mean, how can you not like him? Can you really? Yeah, it's just. I mean, it shows you the quality you've got in the wing stocks. But he's putting it all out there today. I haven't seen much of Makazole Mapimpi just yet, but I reckon we'll hopefully see him more in the second half. Right, so we will have a scrum. It's on the 10-meter line. It's Alperton. So hopefully this is a big scrum. I think Trevor's back on the park, by the way. Jasper Wiese is on the park while Dwayne Vermeulen has an HIA. So 2 HIAs already. And another reset. Blooming reset scrums, eh? They're the worst. They are the worst. Da, 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 da. Right, here we go. Let's get that ball in from Faf. It's gone straight down on Trevor's side. It is available at the back, though, so he will use it. Faf Clark goes to Damon Lindy. Goes to Pollard. Pollard goes to Billy LaRue. Billy LaRue goes to Mapimpi. First time he's really had it. He pumps Corsi out the way. He's still going. He gets into the 22. Big counter ruck there from Australia. Faf Clark needs to get that ball out. It's a huge counter ruck. That's really, really poor. Once again, to a decent area. And then losing the counter ruck. And they're going to be able to just kick this out. That's very frustrating. Faf Clark needed to get that ball out nice and early. Just didn't manage to do it. And Australia will be able to kick this out. And we'll call off time there. It goes back to Karevi, who kicks it out. Right, half time. 15-12. That's fantastic counter-racking from Australia. That's a big moment. 3 points are the advantage. Springboks looking a lot better in the sort of latter 15 minutes. Starting to get back into the swing of things. But they're going to need a big second half effort. Very much not out of it. The game is still alive. But South Africa will need a big second half. I'm going to take a short break. Let me know what your final score predictions are. It's a close game. It's a close game so far. We've already seen 2 yellow cards. We've still got a yellow card. Swinton will miss the first minute or 2 of the second half. We also saw Faf de Klerk getting a yellow card early on, which they really did capitalize on. But yeah, so I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and discuss that first half, look at some of the stats and stuff like that, and go through it. But yeah, leave me your score prediction. Let me know what you thought of that half down in the comments below, and I'll chat to you guys in a few minutes. Right, we are back. We are back. It's halftime at Suncorp Stadium. Australia leading 15 points to 12. A big second half needed from the Springboks so they are to get a victory and get back to winning ways. And a half of two halves, if we're going to be very honest, a pretty ordinary start to the game from the Springboks, but they got a lot better. It does help that Andre Pollard is kicking well, which is good to see because we've been waiting for it. Because it's just it's test match rugby, so you take the points, and I get that. I'm 100% with that, but I would like us to be a little bit braver. we were so good at the break with our set pieces last week. We scored 3 more tries, so we've got it in ourselves to score tries off the back of Moors. Yes, they've defended the Moor much better so far this week, but we've only had one more, I think, on the 5 meter, which where Eben Etzebeth had the double movement. So I'd like to see a little bit more braveness. Look, we are keeping more ball in hand at the moment. I think we're sort of guilty of running into the wing space and they're not giving them a lot of space. Probably a little bit lateral at times in terms of the way when we have gone out wide. Need to sort of straighten a little bit more and try and sort of provide our wings some more space so they can try. At the end of the day, you can't ask Marcus Pimpy to always try and beat somebody inside or something like that. Give him that half gap down the outside. He'll take it. He'll get through. He's got that pace. Spirit, of course, he hasn't had much chance with the ball in hand, but I think he's been one of our best players. I think he's chased down every single ball really, really well. He's put a lot of pressure on them, forced turnovers, he's forced penalties. He's playing really well at Spirit Corsi. If we look at some of the stats from the game, it's very even. So we've actually got more possession, ironically, which we don't normally do as a team. Springboks often operate with less possession as a side that does enjoy defending. Territory-wise, a very easy 49-51% in favor of the Australians. They've scored 2 tries to none, but we've got 4 penalties. In terms of meters, the Australians have run 146. We've run 97. They've beaten 12 defenders. We've beaten 3. So that's a bit of an issue that we need to try and rectify on both accounts. First of all, we'd like to beat some more defenders. Secondly, we'd like to not be beaten that many times. Gain line carries, we've got more. We've had more passes, which is interesting because we don't usually pass the ball a lot. They've had more offloads. Turnovers 1 is 1 apiece. Kicks from hand 12-7. 12 kicks from hand shows that we are keeping the ball in hand more because I think last week it was close to sort of 37-40, which would have meant about 20 by half time. So, tackle success, we got better. Our tackles got better. We missed 9 in the first opening, I think about 18 minutes, and then we missed 3 after that. But still not great. 19 from 31 tackles, 61%. It's something that has to get a lot better in the second half. The Australians, on the other hand, have missed just 3 tackles. Goal kicking success rate, we're operating 100%. Craig Cooper has missed 1 already. Ruck success is 100% for Australians, 93 for South Africans. Line success is, the ultimate rugby. I think you've had a few too many drinks. It says 99% and then 9 from 9, which I make 100%. Penalties conceded. We've conceded 5 penalties, 3 in our own half, 2 in their half. Australia conceded 9 penalties so far, 5 in their own half, 4 in the opposition half. And as you know, we've taken the points whenever we have had those penalties. In terms of big contributions, Franklin Moss has not had the best of days in comparison. He's made 6 tackles. He's missed 2. Obviously dropped that ball early on as well. Seklisi's, I thought, has been very, very solid so far. He's hit quite a few rucks. He had that very nice intervention up against Michael Hooper. He's working hard at Seklisi. Dwayne Vermeulen had a bit of a quiet heart before he went off. Marvin always been very solid come line-out time. Eben Etzebeth had a bit of a quiet game. Mongi Manambi as well. We haven't had too much tackling to do, really. I think Spoon Corsi's probably been one of our best players. He's chased every ball really, really well. He's made us the 3 tackles he had to make. Damien De Lendy's getting into the game a bit more. Damien De Lendy's had quite a few carries so far. Some powerful carries, looked a lot better. Billy LaRue has, not been great so far. He's missed 2 tackles, hasn't made a tackle against Billy LaRue. Not had a brilliant day. He sort of grew into the game a little bit when he went wide, but then again, he's guilty of sort of running into space and not allowing more space for our wings to sort of really use. So he just needs to straighten. We just need to straighten a little bit more. We're far too lateral, and we've got such a big field that we've had this overlap, and we've run towards, the touchline, and the touchline is one of the best defenders in the game. So straighten, create more space out wide, get the balls to our wings. We can score tries, and if we do get a penalty in the other half, we've got the 1-man advantage. Just be brave. Back yourself. Fortune favors the brave. Kick to the corner. Try and get all sort of the maximum points you can. You know, we've got it in ourselves. We just need to back ourselves to do it. In terms of the plan for the day, after this, we'll be going straight over to our player rating show, and then we'll have the Springbok press conference up later. And then we're going to be live for the New Zealand versus Argentina game, where Lacanya will be taking you through that as well. Right, let's check out the chat and see what you guys are all saying from half time. So, Superbox says, Boxers were physical at the breakdown. Where Corona says, to be honest, the Springbok side is one of our best, and yet they struggle against the second string Wallaby side. It's not a second string Wallaby side. And also, it's not a bad Wallaby side. I think we've got a misconception about how bad this Wallaby side is. They are a decent side. Kevin says, if lose, worst case scenario, we'll have to make a lot of change in the team, most likely play alternate fly-off, etc., make silly decisions, defensive, shockingly bad. We definitely will not play alternate Yankees at fly-off against New Zealand. I would like to see it, but we won't do it. Albie says, I'm so mad. Our backs are supposed to be pro, but can't even create space. They crowd the wingers and outside backs because nobody straightens. Such says, it should have been red, but I'm slightly glad it's not. It needs to be more clinical. Jean Locke says, Springboks need to play an expansive game with ball in hand, man. This run and smash game plan is getting old now. They had 40 men on the field, and we only got 3 points out of it. Poor. Carly says, tough game, playing running rugby, which is weird even for me because I normally know the game plan, set piece dominance, but discipline. Des Morgan says, Oz TV, Campo has touched on commentary. He's such a wanker. John Locke says, Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. This is literally the box right now. Well, we've lost 2 tests the entire year. One against British and Irish Lions, one against Australia. We also beat the British and Irish Lions twice, Argentina twice, and Georgia twice. So, I wouldn't say it's not exactly like it hasn't been working. Grant Swart says, Villiers taking up the wings space a few times. Before Villiers gets the ball, someone should straighten. Yeah, look, I don't think he's the only one that's guilty of not straightening as well. I think Pollard has also been quite lateral, in when he makes that pass, it's take the ball, run a few meters left, then make the pass, and it all sort of it's very lateral. So you just need someone to just sort of straighten, or else hit the ball straight and then make the pass. Des Organ says, where's that gone now? Community's got whacked by that Aussie Swinton. Yeah, I'm just glad he did get punished this time because he did the same thing last weekend, and it was really poor last weekend. I thought he should have been sent off. Your passion is awesome. Thank you, appreciate it. Who dares wins? Rodders, these Australians are good. Are you streaming the game? Just commentators just logged on. Yeah, we can't show any match footage. There is a video I've got on the channel that can show you how to watch the game as our players get ready to come back on. Good day, go Australia, says Xavier Brown. Bianca says, thank you, Steve. The community of this platform is welcome. Yeah, we've got a really cool community in the comments. I think I'm actually I'm really proud of that. I think that's probably more what I'm proud of than the numbers. Is we've actually got a really, really nice bunch of people in the chat, which is cool. Iskiva says, good side, just bad at Super Rugby. Bring on Herschel, says Wesley. Join us, our defense is really not good. Lion Bear says, it seems though Villy doesn't know the most basic rule of running, always run straight. Wesley Adams says, if we lose today, no chance of winning All Blacks. Grant says, Franco Moster is a problem in this game. We can't really take him off because he is the replacement lock. Yeah, well, that's the problem. He's expected to play 80 minutes. Zigzag running needed. And John Dion says, too many soft shoulders in defense. Hope they drank Red Bull at halftime and woke up. Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We are 1 subscriber away from 7,000 subscribers. I know one of you is not subscribed. Do it. Be that person. Be our 7,000 subscriber. Although the way YouTube works, it'll probably drop back down to like 6,980 earlier or whatever. But as the kickoff goes, they go very deep from the kickoff to South Africa. And Ikatawa finds that's not a particularly good touch finder. That's not a good touch finder. That's right by the 22. So that's a nice opportunity for the box early on. We've still got a minute and a half before Lachlan Swinton comes on, and we've got a line out right on the 22. In fact, Bongi's decided it's actually in the 22. Yeah, let's move. Let's move. If we can try and start positively here, then we're in here. We've got a man down. Let's try and make it count. Marvin Ori, it's pushed again. There's a penalty advantage. Sia Khaleesi, Faf Clerk spots the space down the blind side. And it's wrapped up by, he kind of sort of salt spoon course down the river there. But we do have the penalty. So go quickly as Faf Clerk is going himself. We don't see that very often. He's still going as Faf Clerk. Go, boy! He's eventually brought down. Sia Khaleesi a little diving pass there. Yours for the base says, eat your heart out. Ball over the top to Michael's on a pimpy. I'm not sure that's the right option. He's wrapped up under a lot of pressure. It's just for you. We need some support here at the ruck. Damien De Lendi does come. We need to scrum off here, chaps. We need to scrum off. It comes in the form of Eben Etzebeth, who goes to Trevor, and the ball goes through the hands, but backwards to Frans Malherbe. Nice handling there. Come now, chaps. Mastered inside ball to Marvin Ori. Big hit on him, but we will retain possession. Faf de Klerk is back. Goes Damon Delindi. To Andre Pollard. Oh, good hands from LaRue. To Spoon Corsi from Sia Khaleesi. Cuts inside towards the support. De Klerk, penalty advantage. Kicks it in behind. Lekanya up. Come on. We're back. Lekanya arm over. Faf de Klerk with the quick tap. We had the penalty advantage. Kick in behind. There was no one at home. Lekanya arm doesn't butcher it this time. He's going to try. What a start to the half. Lachlan Swinton will come on with South Africa ahead. Much better. Much better. We went left. We went right. We kept the ball in hand. We had a couple of decent phases there. And then Faf de Klerk spotted the space outside. Boom. You can see there's just nobody there. And the ball just sits up. And the Kanyam has the patience to wait for it. Up he goes. Down he goes. Thank you very much. Into the lead for the first time of the match before. And as Lachlan Swinton comes back on. Much better, much better. Everyone complaining about not keeping ball in hand and being boring. Well, there we go. We took a quick tap. We took a quick tap, trying to sort of add a bit of tempo to the game. And I think it's quite important in terms of making sure the bomb squad has a bit of an effect to up the tempo of the game quite early and try and grind them down a little bit. Lots of chats there from the Kanya to the team. Right, so Andre Pollard will try and add the extras. It's quite far to the right, so it's not the easiest of kicks, but we need you to try and slot it, and it will go down to the right. So Pollard misses his first kick of the match, 17 points to 15. Lekanya, I'm the man that scored the try. Much better, much better. There we go. Kevin, we will probably be live tomorrow for the Spurs-Chelsea game. It'll probably be myself and Kweli, so it should be a bit of a laugh. Much better there, much better. And we stopped. They've gone a little bit shorter this time and to the right. So even Etzebeth had hands on, but Michael Hooper's got hands on the ball. Illegally so, not running away, penalty. That's what we need. Oh, yeah, that's it. So get a bit of handsy with Michael Hooper. We need to try and shift the momentum here. Stop flipping, letting them walk all over us. Hit back. I've enjoyed this first 3 minutes. Just log off now and we'll call it. Right. What do we say about that? So 7,000 game from the girlfriend's phone. Hey, there we go. This is what we're talking about. We need people like Fit Together. Get the girlfriend and the wives involved. Well, we stormed past 7,000. So massive thank you to all of you. That's big, eh? That's big. I can't believe we're past 7,000 subscribers. Perfect start. Freya says, look what happens when we play. 7K subs now. Congrats. Thank you very much. Go Boca. That's the start we needed. That's a very hard kick. We go short to the line out there. Pollard then goes to Damon Delindi, who will crash up in the midfield. We're pretty much in between the 10 meter and the 22 here. Listen, I don't think I need the spider cam shit. Just go to the normal view. Sia Khaleesi. That's a solid carry from him. Captain's been good today. Now Dwayne Vermeulen, who is back in the park after passing that HIA. Pollard to LaRue. LaRue sees a bit of a gap, goes in between it. Probably the right decision to hold on to the ball there from the fullback. Now Faf de Klerk goes to Trevor. Trevor puts his head down. Lachlan Swinton gets knocked back on his return. Make sure you use some arms there. LaRue inside ball to Bongi Manambi. We need a little bit of support here. It does come eventually. We are retaining possession. Faf de Klerk had to get involved to that ruck. So LaRue will be our scrummy. Trevor now gets past one. Now Faf back to Pollard. Now we will see the up and under. Right, so there's a big chase. A lot of pressure over here. It's a bit deep from Pollard, so it goes straight down the throat of Reece Hodge. Not a good kick from Pollard there. It's fine going for the up and under in that situation, but we've got to make sure it's competitive. It's just a bit too deep there from Pollard. But Bongi Manambi is down, which I think it's about time. He usually goes off at this time anyway, so I think we'll probably make the substitution. James says there, good bit of play for Faf. Would love to see more of that from him. Change it up. Marchi says, yeah, give Mr. Am a bonus today, please. Lekanya did not drop it this time. No, Blocker is back. Nice start. Marshall says, great. That's how we play, boys. Pollard got to score that at test level. 8K. Oh, jeepers. Yeah, 8K is the next one. Better, boys. Your commentary skills were good. Thank you very much. Wesley Adams says, so if it was Alton Yankees, do you think he would have been in the starting lineup again today? We all know the answer to that. Michael Hooper could see 3 penalties in one ruck. Yeah, at least he's been nailed for them, to be fair. Louis says, your channel is my lifeline to Springbok Rugby. Great job, sir. Thank you very much. Sorry, Swinton, no arms again. Yeah, I did actually wonder if there weren't any. There were some arms there. It looked a little bit sketchy. It was a short-term free kick to Australia. The kick there from Pollard going a little bit deep, but it looked better. It's nice to see us taking the line. Reece Hodge obviously on after Banks was injured. About halfway through the first half, Reece Hodge going pretty deep there. He won't find touch though. Goes down the throat of Andre Pollard. He's got Willie le Roux next to him. He'll wait for a couple of chasers. He goes up. Willie le Roux is chasing. He's got Marvin Orie with him as well. Reece Hodge has spilled and Willie le Roux has won that back. So the aerial battle proving to be a bit of an issue. And Patrick Clerk immediately goes to the boot. Bounce. It's going to bounce badly. It's going to sit up actually. So it goes back to Reece Hodge. He'll be able to find touch. That's a much better touch finder from Reece Hodge. He finds touch and about just past the 10-meter line, but still inside Australian territory. So it was the right idea from Faf de Klerk because he had come off his line, Reece Hodge, so there was nobody home. In fact, it's on the halfway line. The ball just not quite bouncing favorably, trying to sort of pin us into the 22. But I like the intensity here so far. The aerial game, for all we don't enjoy it, is actually starting to work. The Australians are struggling a little bit under the high ball. And here comes Stephen Kitsoff and Malcolm Marx. Trevor had a bit of a quiet game, but it's pretty solid. Didn't do anything wrong. I think we'll see him off the bench next weekend against the All Blacks. And Vincent Koch, by the way. So all new front row. Thomas says, play my boys, we must win this game from Namibia. Take up Pollard, bring an Alton, says Marshall. Come on, Wallaby, says Annika Grayling. Swinton does not use arms tackle at all. He's putting Bush James to shame. Good old Butchie, eh? Right, so on the halfway line, Malcolm Marx's first line of the day goes straight to Franco Mostert. Solid win from him. He reckons he was taken out early. The ball has gone down here. Dwayne Fimion's on the floor. And we've got penalty advantage. Good to see that. And a bit of momentum going as well. Right, Faf de Klerk goes to Damon Delendi, who runs into Michael Hooper and Craig Cooper. Makes a few yards there. I'm not sure we do have the penalty advantage, actually. There's nothing on the screen. Faf de Klerk inside ball from Pollard. Oh, that's a big hit. Yeah, Lachlan Swinton sit flipping down. Malcolm Marx sitting him down there. Probably wasn't in your arms in the tackle. Doesn't matter, though. We'll shove you off. Pollard now. Thinking about a kick. Then goes to Lekanya Spins away from the tackle and wrapped up on the bottom there. Up to the 10-meter line are the Springboks. Malcolm Marx inside ball from Franco Mostert as well. Read by Australia. Faf de Klerk. Willie le Roux goes up. That's a contestable kick. That's contestable. Spear and Corsi's up there. It comes all Spear and Corsi. Craig Cooper is running back to clean up. And it's a chase there for Siaklisi. Wraps him down. Lachlan Swinton now. So make the tackle by the 22. Siaklisi's been everywhere today. Up again to make the tackle. He's having a really good game. Good to see. You were disappointed with his performance last weekend, and he's pitched up today. Right, we've got Reece Hodge, I assume, in the pocket. Does go back from Nick White. Reece Hodge pumps this down the middle of the park. Willie le Roux and Andre Pollard are back. Willie le Roux will kick towards the left-hand side. It'll be fielded by Kellaway. Kellaway will look to return the favor. He kicks it quite deep. Down the throat of Willie le Roux once again, who will mark it and say, you know what, we're just going to calm things down. We're going to get the team back and we'll chill a little bit. Well, I was looking a bit better. It's nice to see that those rolling mauls, we got a penalty advantage from it. Well, we didn't actually, having said that, but got a bit of momentum there. All new front row. Willie le Roux finds touch. Not a great touch find. I think it's just between the 10-meter and the 50, which is not too bad. 8 minutes gone so far in the second half. Still a very close game. Just 2 points in it. You do feel that the South Africa have got a little bit of momentum since the second half, since half time. Swinton no arms last week, and again this week. Lions Bears says bomb squad. Brett Pinkerton says Viva la Springboks. Mark Julian Lee says Swinton needs a spin or two in the washing machine. Swinton had to use his arms to break his fall after being sat down by Malcolm Marx. Yeah, it was a big hit on him there. Solid line up there. You've seen Karevi. You cuts inside. Slips the tackle Khaleesi, but I think Kwaka Smith's now on the field as well. So in terms of Khaleesi and taking down Craig Cooper there, who thought about some space, but the space closed down quite quickly. And now Nick White will tip over the top. It'll bounce up for Mapimpi, who's under a lot of pressure. That's a really good kick from Nick White. Mapimpi reckons he was tackled out the ball there. I don't think that was really the case. So it's a really good kick from Nick White, who've given the Australians a line out inside the 22. They go to the front. Eben Etzebeth, they're trying to disrupt it. They break off from Hooper. Lachlan Swinton runs into Malcolm Marks. Solid tackle. Andre Pollard is trying to poach that. Penalty advantage here for the Wallabies on the front foot here. Nick White going off to the left to Quay Cooper. Thought about it, steps inside, gets wrapped up by Dwayne Vermeulen. Gets the ball away to Nick White, who goes at the top to Villy and throws it straight out, so they'll go back for the penalty. I think it was from the maul. Offside. That's so poor. It's straight in front of the poles, and they'll be able to go ahead, although Quay Cooper is down and clutching his head, so that'll hopefully make kicking a little bit more difficult. He's not happy as Quay. I don't know if he might have had a smack on the nose here. Time is off because their kicker is down. Right, so it looks like the Australians will probably be able to kick themselves back in front. They're right in front of the poles. He ran into Dwayne Vermeulen trying to sort of hand him off. I don't know where the issue comes down yet. He just gets a bit of smack in the face from Vincent Koch. Purely accidental, nothing really in it. Oh, they're all worried now. It's a bit of a soft shot there from Vincent Koch. Gives him a bit of a slap in the face. Nothing too hectic. Look, they got a penalty anyway, so it's really not that deep. The Australian crowd can boo all they want. It's really not that deep. he'll survive. Yeah, so it's right in front of the poles. They will go for poles. I think they'll just tell Vincent Koch off there, a bit of a slap on the wrist. He's not worth a yellow card or anything, just sort of reminding him that he is there. There was a penalty anyway for offside. Right, so Australia will kick themselves back in front. So they're themselves getting a bit of territory and getting points for it. Right, time is back on. It's a good game actually in terms of the way it's sort of ebbing and flowing. It's still very nice and close. Emmanuel says Australians are trying to be clever. They want to play in our half so that we concede penalties. Well, I think it's much of a muchness. I think we're also trying to do that. You wouldn't. That's test match rugby, isn't it? Get yourself, play the territory game, win the penalties, kick the points. Right, from straight in front, Quay Cooper puts that over as you would expect, and the Australians go up to 18 points to 17 with a 1-point lead after 10 minutes in the second half. So we've got a new front row on. We've also Kwaka Smith on. I'm assuming he's on for Marvin Orie. So one assumes that Marvin. The fact that Franco Master took that line out means I'm assuming Marvin Orie is off. It does look like it. They go quite deep from the kickoff, and the maul goes straight down. Right, Nick White's going to shape for the box kick here. I don't think he's going to go out there. It's to Villy Leroux. So I'll take from him. He's eventually brought down. Then I'll go to Malcolm Marks. No, sorry, Stephen Kitsoff. Solid carry from him, getting up to the 10-meter. 5 o'clock, I'm going to Andre Pollard, who waits inside step and then puts the ball high in the air. Eben Etzebeth, Damon Delendi's all around there. And Reece Hodges spills it forward. Now Faf de Klerk has quickly jumped onto it. Siya down the break there. Boom, sit down, son. Up to the 22. Bench does make the tackle as Kellaway, but quite a big hit from Siya Malcolm Marks almost spilling it forward. What? Well, it's a knock on there from the Springboks. Not quite. I think it was Malcolm Marks there. It's a bit poor. But Reece Hodge, once again, spilling it forward. And I think right now we're just going to pepper them with high balls because they're not fielding them particularly well, Australia. And Faf de Klerk was quick onto that. Yeah, look, I mean, if you want the Springboks not to kick, then you need to make sure you take your catches right. So it will be an Australian scrum. We obviously got a couple of new players on. So Quacker Smith is on the flank there. New front row. So it's time to try and sort of stand by authority. It'll be a nice position to try and win a penalty. Let's see if our bomb squad can do the bomb squad things, eh? A short on there. Australia's also got two. I've got so a short on penalty there. Wallabies take it quite quickly. They go quite deep towards Villileroux, who takes his time. Launches it down the left. Stays in field as well. Reese Hodge now will kick and chase. Villileroux waits. It's a good tackle on Reese Hodge, but solid by Villileroux under the high ball. Factor Clerk decides to go down the blind side of Stephen Kitsoff. Inside our own half here, just behind the 10-meter line. Getting a couple of blockers there so that Factor Clerk can kick ahead. He does chip over the top. It's a bit of a chip for Mapimpi, and he'll run into touch just past the halfway line. I think it was supposed to be a bit competitive, but not the worst result. So it does give possession back to Australia inside their own half. Right, they go to the front of the line, they go down the blind side, and Factor Clerk makes the tackle, and they knock it on to Australia. So position back to South Africa, and they'll get some touch, so we'll go back for the scrum. Australia going to the short of the line out. But good pressure there from Factor Clerk to try and force the knock on there. I didn't quite know what was going on there. He literally always put it in his lap and then sort of said, well, you're not going to take it, mate. So knock on coming from Australia, so South Africa will have the scrum. It's a very entertaining season in the Australian coaching box, and a lot of people not impressed with what's going on there. Right, there's James Slipper off. Right, so Fileti Katu gets gone to the field, the youngster. As does Angus Bell, who comes on for James Slipper. And have they replaced Tupou as well, or is he staying on? Looks like he is staying on. Right, 67% possession so far in the second half for South Africa. Time is on. We're at the 55-minute mark. And 69% possession. So let's see what our scrums can do. It's available for Faf de Klerk, who does use it. He goes to Damon Lindy in the midfield. It's a much better tackle there from Craig Cooper. Hey, none of the spider cam angle. Can we? Yeah, let's just go back to the normal stuff. Don't fix what's not broken. Faf de Klerk has knocked that on. He was hit as he was about to take the tackle. We've given possession back to Australia with a knock-on advantage. And then a penalty advantage for not rolling, for sealing off there. Coming off his feet is Eben Etzebeth. That's really, really frustrating, chaps. So Faf de Klerk here was going to go for the kick. I think Jai's boot gets caught, which is why it was then poor pass to Eben Etzebeth, who wasn't expecting it, who then lost it forward. Malcolm Marks, knowing this in front, doesn't touch it. And Australia managed to kick themselves into the 22. So now the Springboks need to concede, need to defend here. Game of margins, hey, game of margins. It's funny how just that small thing like disrupting the boot of Faf de Klerk has now allowed for a penalty, and they're right back on the Springboks doorstep. Here comes the defense. It's been better in the second half. Let's see if they can defend this again. I reckon we will probably contest it. They go to the back. Frank Master tries and misses it. And the ball's gone straight down from Australia, so they will have to use it. Karebi tries to stab it ahead, but it comes off and it bounces back to Kellaway, who's wrapped up by Lakanya Favorable bounce there. Nick White then, loses it forward off his own player. Turnover ball for South Africa, who got a knock-on advantage. Lakanya coming away with that ball there. It's just a knock-on advantage. Malcolm Marks in towards Villileroux. He's got time and puts it to the boot. And we'll find touch just beyond the 22 there. So good to see. Nice forcing the knock-on there. He's not happy with something, is Villileroux. Well, the game's just sort of becoming a bit messy at the moment. The first sort of 15 minutes was pretty structured from the Springboks, but at the moment, just struggling to sort of execute the basics, but same as blooming Australia, to be fair. Ball coming up from the... It's Kellaway who takes it. Malcolm Marks is over that ball quite quickly. Has he got hands on the ball? No. So Nick White goes to... I think it's Matt Phillip there. And Craig Cooper's kick once again comes with the boot and is turned over by Franco Mostert, who manages to get hands on it. So the Springbok have turned the ball over there. Valerie in at scrum half goes to Vincent Koch. He absorbs a couple of tackles and then goes down. Faf de Klerk now back to Stephen Kitsoff. Now asking for a few blockers. Yeah, Faf de Klerk will now kick this nice and deep, I'm sure. Kicks it high. Spoon Corsi is chasing hard once again. Corbetti's there, but it bounces, and the Kanya has won it back. Almost fumbling it there. It's Faf de Klerk. It's a horrible pass. Apollo comes into it. Oh, it's also a horrible pass. Michael Hooper almost with the interception. Now Seklisi's got a bit of space. He gives it away to Billy LaRue. Billy LaRue sucks it up. Oh, come on. You stop making the basic errors there. The Wallabies are taking it quickly. They're throwing the ball inside. Reece Hodge now looking. Sees a bit of space. Kicks it quite deep. There's no one home. So this could be a very good kick. Oh, this could be a 50-22 if it bounces. But David Delindy is back. He's just going to run. Oh, he loses that possession. Come on. Can we just protect possession and contact? David Delindy losing the ball in contact. Australia back. Lavanini chucks it back. It's all a bit messy. And they just kick it out. It will eventually be a scrum. This is what I'm saying. The game has been... it's just falling apart at the moment. Just very little structure. A couple of kicks from both sides here. But I mean, this pass here from Faf de Klerk, it was a bit 50-50. And Andre Pollard throws a 50-50. Michael Hooper almost intercepting. And then Seklisi seeing the space. Runs up, gives it to Billy LaRue. Billy LaRue tries to make the man. And then, I mean, just a bit confused. Is the pass here? Michael Pimpy just sort of pulls out of it, really. And then Delendi with the ball in the wrong hand. They can see in the knock-on. So you will have a Australian scrum. Seven handling areas so far from Australia, 5 from South Africa. I think about 4 of those have all come in about the last 5 minutes. It's all getting a bit messy. Well, Tate McDermott is on the field, so no more Nick White. He's a bit of a live wire as McDermott. Doesn't quite have the kicking game that Nick White has. Also got a replacement in the back row. That's Pete Samu at the back of the point. Back of the scrum, I mean. I think South Africa just need a bit more patient with ball in hand at the moment. They've got the opportunity. They just need to go back to basics. Win the basics, win the set pieces, get back to where we are strong, and just use that. That's what we're good at. So that's what we must do. Interesting to see the substitutions we will make in terms of utility backs. Oh, that's a big scrum from South Africa. It is available for Tate McDermott. He goes to Karevi. Camera work is horrendous. Faf de Klerk over that ball. Ball spills back out for Tate McDermott, who then looks to go himself. He's wrapped up with Vincent Koch and Dwayne Vermeulen. Going down the blind side of Australia. They've got numbers. They've got numbers down the blind side there. Tupou's got it. Well, they've gone through. Where was the defense? Where was the flipping defense? Where was the wing? What's going on here, chaps? Well, Corbett has strolled over. They found so much space down the blind side. Where was everyone? And you can see, I mean, the defensive line was just absolutely no. Spoon, of course, he has to come up, and Tupou just sucks him in, gets the ball out to Corabetti. That is so easy. The defensive line was just nowhere. They spotted so much space down that blind side. And he does it perfectly, does Tupou. He just sucks Spoon Corsi in. He has to commit, gets the pass away, and he strolls over down the blind side. But far too easy. But, chaps, it's not hard. You see, draw and pass. It's not difficult. It's all they did. They did 2. Here we go. Pass. Wait for the man. Pass. Which is something we haven't been able to do the entire blooming game. 23 points to 17 with a kick to come, and you sort of wonder. And this is what I was sort of saying in the first half. I would like to see us be braver. because they're scoring the tries. We're taking the penalties. We scored 1 try. They've scored 3. As a result, they're far ahead. So last week we scored 3 tries from the back of the maul. We haven't even tried that this week. We've got to now actually start going for the damn. We can't just keep taking 3 points. Right, well, some big calls here to make. With 18 minutes to go, do we start replacing Faf de Klerk? Do we replace Willie Leroux? Do we want to see Damien Willemse? I mean, what's the point? If you don't have if you've got faith in your bench and you think they can do a job, this is the time for you to do it. Bring on Van Staden, bring on Jasper Wiese, bring on Willemse, bring on Herschel Yankees, Quay Cooper as the extra 2 there. We have to have a goal. We have to roll the dice now. We're 8 points behind with 17 minutes to go. Deep from the restart there from South Africa. Ikatar this time will not go for touch. He pumps that straight down the throat of Willie Leroux, goes inside to Andre Pollard. Well, Herschel Yankees is on, so in terms of a bit of pace being injected, Andre Pollard dabbing it in behind there, and that's not particularly well fielded from Kellaway, but Lakanya slips the tackle. Damien Willemse, that's Herschel Yankees who comes in to make a nice tackle. Well, that's a nice first contribution there, Herschel. Keeping the straight inside the 22. We've got the little 20-year-old Ikatal on Fektal. They're just having a few fists with Mapimpi. McDermott now looking for the box kick. It'll stay inside, so it's a bit of a tester for Andre Pollard, who tackles and takes it well. Up on the 10-meter, we've got possession back. Herschel Yankees goes to Malcolm Marks. Solid enough carry from him. Herschel Yankees now going down the blind side. Quick up off the line there was Michael Hooper up against Franco Mostert. Well, it's gone straight up there for Herschel Yankees. It's landed back the Australian side. He's a bit isolated though. See Ecclesias over that ball. But Australia have one possession back. What's the best kick there? Tate McDermott goes to Quay Cooper, who goes to Karevi. He spots a bit of space. Long pass out there. Ikatar doesn't have the pace. Chips ahead. And it'll land straight into touch, thankfully, because there's lots of space out there. Now come. Just slow things down. Calm down. Calm down, South Africa. Springboks, just calm. Calm. We've got 15 minutes. Let's go back to basics. The ball over the top. He had a lot of space ahead, but he knew he didn't have the pace. So he tries to kick it ahead and bounce a strange touch. Not a particularly good kick there. Craig says Dwayne is not ready. We need Jasper in there. Yeah, I think I would also make that call. I think Dwayne just looks a little bit behind the game, to be honest. I think he's not up to full fitness. Right, going for the rolling more here. Initial shove here from Australia is quite good. Keeping it in here is Malcolm Marks. So Herschel's going to have to come and use it now. Well, nobody comes from Malcolm Marks, so he goes himself. He then decides to run over Lavatini, sorry. Goes to Pollard, who's pretty isolated. Goes back towards the support. Gets the pass out to Vincent Koch. Vincent Koch comes inside. Quokka Smith. He's still going. Quokka Smith still going. Oh, and he loses the ball. Just fucking keep your hands on the ball. Right, to the hands here. They've got numbers here. They've got Australia. Inside ball to Michael Hooper. Scramble defense. He then puts it onto the boot. It's a very strange call from Michael Hooper. Now Pollard spots a bit of space down the left. Launches it quite deep. Oh, and Quay Cooper has missed that completely. And he's had to come back there. So he's got a bit of time still, this Quay Cooper. There's not much of a kick chase coming. He launched that down. He won't find touch. Down the middle of the park, Willie Leroux decides to go to the left with Makazulu Mapimpi. Mapimpi ran straight into Cooper. He's got support there in the likes of... and they've stolen on the ground. Christ, we can't do anything right at the moment. Literally. The breakdowns aren't working. We can't keep the ball in hand. And the offload comes in there from Australia. And the missed tackle from Willie Leroux. The spoon Corsi here. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. Australia have got the numbers. They go down the blind side. Vincent Koch doesn't have the space. They're over there. Sack the team. Replace them all. Australia over again. This is shambolic. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous so far. And it just comes down to the basics, knock-ons, breakdown. I mean, we had the ball, breakdown, turn over the ball. They go wide, they find the space. And you see, turn over ball and quickly, boom, they're on. It's the offload game at the bottom. I mean, it's a fantastic offload. I think it's Karevi who makes the offload. And the pace just isn't there from anyone. Willie LaRue misses the tackles, which means Springboks has to commit. It's one less defender. You've got to take Willie LaRue off. You've got to take Dwayne Vermeulen off at the moment. And to be honest, I'll take Franco Mostert off, but we don't have another blooming lock. But you've got to make the changes, chaps. You've got to make the changes. And we said it, we talked about the fact that, sorry, actually, I still got the bloody yellow card from the first half. I wish we still had a yellow card there. We spoke about the problem with if this team doesn't pitch up today, then where do we stand for next week? You know, what do we do now? Because this team has been horrendous. Well, it's a pretty poor kick from Michael Hooper. I mean, from Craig Cooper. Right, we've got 12 minutes to try and chase 13 points. So 2 converted tries does do it, but we just don't look like scoring. We just don't look like we're clinical enough. Big questions being asked. Big questions being asked. I mean, and then don't you just love this? Get rid of Nina Arbor. Oaks, he's just won the flipping British and Irish Lions series. You can't sack a guy after 2 losses. South African fans, eh? South African fans. I'm not happy with the result. We're not going to sack the coaching staff. I mean, really, let's not be silly now, people. Pollard chasing, we lose kick, but Australia have one possession back. We've got a penalty here. I think, that's a gift. That is a gift. Penalty for offside from Australia. So that's right in front of the poles. You won't take poles, but that's a gift. Right, well, we have to, chaps. We've got 13 points. Don't even think about going for the flipping 3 points. We have to go for the line here, score an early try. Well, Pollard has put us in the 5 meter. If we are to even try and get into this game and try and snatch a win, we need to score a try and convert it. A try here, convert try gets to 24 points and means that we've then got, less than 10 minutes to try and score another 7-point try. So a big moment. I said in the first half, I think it was just frustrating. I think we had chances to go for the try and we didn't. We went for the 3 points. And I think we need to be a bit braver. It's a big more defense there from Australia. Malcolm Mark's going to have to use this. In fact, Hershey Young's going to have to use it because they've gone through and are holding on to Malcolm Marks. Got a bit of forward momentum. It's going to go straight out. No, you see, you guys use the fucking ball. If you're being pushed to the side, flip and use it. This is how have we just become so poor overnight? It's really, really poor. You had to use that. As soon as he had hands on there, Malcolm Marks, Hershey Young needs to be in and he needs to be using that. My biggest worry is that we've gone with the same team for the second week in a row, and now we have to try and use the same team for 2 All Blacks games. I mean, what do we do? Jordan Pettier on for Morika Korebeti, who leaves with a lot of tries to his name. He's taking off 2 from him, 2 from... Oh, he's throwing the lineup there. Hershey Yankees. Quacker Smith at scrum off there. Marco van Staden. Hershey Yankees to Stephen Kitsoff. Solid run from him, getting up to the 5 meter. And a penalty there for the Springboks. Come in quickly. We got another time. Yeah, we got another time, chaps. I'll take it quickly. Villy, if you take it quickly, I reckon you actually would have snuck in there, to be honest. Scrum. We're going for a scrum. Going for an attacking scrum. Yeah, we're running out of time here, chaps. Well, I suppose if you get a big scrum, you can get a penalty try. But, a loss for this will mean that we lose our number 1 ranking. A lot of pressure on the coaching staff. The All Blacks have arrived. Right, so I'm going to drop the player ratings in the comments now. Please go and vote for them. We'll be live for our player ratings about 10 minutes after the final whistle does go. And Tupo's still on there. 72 minutes from the title. What an innings. What an innings. Right, so there's the link for the player ratings. As soon as this show ends, you will get the link. Then you'll be sent over to the player ratings. We'll be doing going through them and rating all the players and stuff like that. It'll be live about 10 minutes after we finish this game. And then we'll be live after that for the New Zealand versus Argentina game. Lacania will be taking you through that game as well, which should be quite an interesting one. Can Argentina bounce back? It's pretty much too late. I think this is us losing the rugby championship. But also, we need to also relax, I think, to be honest. We are a very reactionary fan base. To sit there and call for Jacques Dino about to be sacked, to sit there and say our coaching staff is useless, and to throw everything out of here. We're going to lose as always, for example. So comments like that, it's just silly. There's just no need for that. It hasn't been good. It's been a bad game. Jasper Wiese breaks off the back of the scrum, but we can't just flip and throw the baby out with the bathwater. Michael Hooper has won a penalty on the thing. You see, this country is shit. I'm so negative. Life is so shit. I hate fans like you because you're not a fan. We have been terrible. It's a bad game. It's not great. It's not been a good 2 games. We also won the British and Irish Lions series. We also beat Argentina twice. We also beat Georgia. It's been a bad game. But we can't sit there now and just say that everything sucks. The players are useless. Sack the coaching staff. We're all horrendous. The coach, to question the coaches who have won the World Cup, who have won the British and Irish Lions series, yes, this is a big game. We're going to have to go back and we're going to have to relook at this. But let's not flip and overreact, please. Please. There's no need for it. There really is no need for it. We've got our hands. We've been beaten by a better side. It happens. So, you now have to respond against New Zealand. I think it's big calls for next week. Big call for next week, but we go again. Quacker Smith, that's a very nice carry from him. Jeepers, a big hit on Craig Cooper. Yankees to Pollard to David Lindy. Finding me of a half gap there. Well, the ball fumbled out the ruck there, and Hershey Yankees had to jump on it, but I think there was a knock on in it. So it's just not happened. It's not happened. But look, if there's a team that you want to bounce back and you want to show your pedigree, it has to be against New Zealand. You have to bounce back and respond today. And I think the biggest thing is we're going to have to see changes. You're going to have to see changes. Yes, this team did beat the British and Irish Lions, but you can't afford to perform like this and keep your place. There needs to be accountability. So I'm very interested to sort of see the team selection we go with next week. Time is off. I think we can all agree this is probably the worst we've played in the last since about 2018. So it's but also just remember, if you go back 2 weeks ago, Australia were getting smashed by the All Blacks, and everyone's having a laugh at Australia and how useless they are and stuff like that. And now look, they're winning. So the game ebbs and flows. It's a strange game. You'll have good moments, you'll have bad moments. Time is currently off. I don't quite know what it's for. We'll resume with a scrum. Da, 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 da. Do, do, do. I think James makes a very good point. He says coaches don't miss tackles. At the end of the day, we've knocked it on how many times? I think about 7 or 8 times. We've missed about 15 tackles. So you can go after the coaching staff as much as you want, but I think at the moment, I think the players have to be quite accountable today because our main players, Dwayne Vermeulen was nowhere today. Eben Etzebeth was quiet. Franklin Mossop had a very poor game. Faf de Klerk didn't play well. Villaroo didn't play particularly well. Pollard kicked well, but apart from that, didn't have a fantastic game. Michael Pimpy hasn't looked like the Pimpy we thought we've had for a while. So it's a combination of things. You're not just going to go and stack the coaching staff after losing 2 matches against Australia. It's ludicrous to even think that. And can I just add that, have you seen Australia's record in the stadium? And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying it was always, and that's just a skew throw, just to make things worse. After winning the penalty, skew throw from Malcolm Marx. Oh, it's just not been a good day, has it? It's not been a good day. Back to the drawing board, chaps. Let's have some oranges. I think at the moment the biggest thing is what do we do for next week? Because you can't reward these players after the performance they offered. You've got to then say to the rest of your squad, listen, will you guys step up and do something? And time off for another bloody reset scrum. Guys, for all you can say that the stadium makes no difference, I'm not saying that, because we're playing the Soundcore means we're not going to win. But look at all the factors. We don't play well in Australia. We have never, ever played well in Australia. We have a horrendous record in Australia. In fact, in recent times, we've got a better record in New Zealand than we do in Australia. So factor that in. Factor everything in. Factor the fact that we missed tackle and stuff like that. It's a bad performance. You can't excuse it. But I will not be caught up in blooming now sulking and just telling everyone that everyone should. We won a penalty off the back of the scrum. It was work, actually. I'm not going to sit there and sulk and lose my shit and tell the coaching staff they're useless and everything like that. After 2 games. We go through the rugby championship and then we reassess. Did they get it wrong today? Yes, they did. Will they be accountable? Yes, they did. Have they got money in the bank? Yes, they did. As we go wide to my Pimpy. And they've won it back, I think. No, we've got penalty advantage. Well, I think we might be able to score a try to get within 7 and get a bonus point. Not that it really makes much of a difference. Well, Tupou has just left the field. What an innings from him. He was absolutely sensational. Malcolm Marx finds his line-up jumper. We're going for the rolling more here. Trying to get a bonus point, losing bonus point. That's all we can go for now. Malcolm Marx is very isolated, has to use it there. And they've won it on the ground. I mean, it just sums it up, doesn't it? They've won every single, in the last 20 minutes, they've won every single mini battle. They're winning the breakdown battle. We're throwing the ball in skew. We're a team that's rattled and hasn't pitched up. It really does need to go back to the drawing board. I'm very interested to see what we're going to go with next weekend. I think it's a massive selection cause. I think you have to start looking at dropping players and saying, listen, you're not gonna come in. You're not gonna lay down your body for this jersey. Then you're not gonna be selected. So it's a reckoning in many ways for this coaching staff. You've got 2 options as a Springbok supporter. You can cry. You can call for them to be sacked. You can not support them. You can, be miserable for the next week. Or you can say, right, We lost. What do we do now? Where do we move now? Which players do we get there? And you can hold the coaches accountable. But at the end of the day, if you are the type of person that calls for everyone to be sacked and everyone's shit and this country's shit and we hate our team, don't you dare celebrate when we win. I mean, somebody commented the other day and said that I'm going to have to bring my Springbok jersey again. I mean, if you're going to be that sort of supporter, we don't sort of need you in the support base. As far as I'm concerned, it's been a horrendous day. The coaching staff will be held accountable. They're going to be asked in the press. They're going to face the press, and they're going to sit there and they're going to have to admit that they got things wrong. And they've got things right this year, and they've got things wrong. And today they've got things very, very wrong. And the only way you change that, we're now looking at a poor challenge from Jasper Wiese, who's pretty much headbutted Australia. That could be him out suspended at this rate. Doesn't look particularly good, by the way. And I feel sorry for the players who have tried today. I thought that Siya had a decent outing. I thought that Spirit Corsi has worked very hard. Lukanya Arms had limited opportunities. I think since coming on, Kwaka Smith has looked really, really positive. He's looked really energetic. But it's throughout the team, there are too many players today that were passengers, they were off. And now discipline keeping in. Jasper Wiese could be in a bit of trouble. Let me stop my clock, actually, because we're busy checking this. Chaps, I think we just have to take us on the chin, don't we? We enjoyed our wins. And now we have to take it on the chin. We have to own it. We have to wear it. We have to be on the end of some abuse for the next week. We have to keep ourselves out of the limelight a bit, and we move again next week, I suppose. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I did wonder if we needed to rotate. Because I just think that we've got such a big squad over there. He's got a yellow card as Jasper Wiese, just to add salt into the wounds. And sometimes you need results like this. Sometimes you need that wake-up call. Look at how he went from losing 57-0 in Wellington to then bouncing back and winning the World Cup. You need results like this sometimes. So it's a reckoning. It's a reckoning for the coaching staff. And hopefully they respond well. Look, they've got a big task in the next 2 games. And then we've got the end of year tour. And what I hope is that games like this now says that at the end of the year, maybe it's time that we need to start blooding more players. We now need to look at our squad depth. So yeah, we've got. I think the yellow cards. That's about right. I mean, you can't go red after Swinton gets away with his. It's a terrible clean-up from Jasper Wiese. It's really ill discipline from him, and that's just frustration boiling over. But can we just call the game here so we can move? Yeah, Australia just running down time now. They're just hitting phase by phase. They've got another 10, 20, 50 seconds to run down. Big kind of ruck there coming from Kwaka Smith again, who's come through and competing. So I reckon he could be starting against the All Blacks. Just in terms of the attitude he's come on with. Yeah, and they're just taking a knee, basically. What you can't do is a penalty, so a late opportunity. The only thing we can get now is a bonus point, and a losing bonus point. I hope lunch is nice. I'm going out for lunch. The only thing that can cheer me up after this. We've gone for the corner. Time is up, so we've got no time. Do you know what will happen now? Just because we basically can't win the Rugby Championship, watch Argentina go and beat Australia. I mean, beat New Zealand. Watch. Just because of this. Just because if we had won today, it would have been meant that we're back in it. Watch them go and lose or something stupid. And straight over the top for Malcolm Marks. I mean, it really has been one of those days, hasn't it? It just can't get any worse. So Hershey Yankees has jumped on them quickly, conceded the penalty. That will be the game. Oh, what a terrible match. What a terrible match. Defensively, outclassed is the word to use. Outclassed. Started off really poorly, grew into the game, had a good start to the second half, and then just couldn't do it, couldn't capitalize, couldn't ever sort of swing the momentum. So back to the drawing board for South Africa, who lose 30 points to 17 in the Suncorp Stadium. Nothing. We leave with absolutely nothing, with a lot of questions to be answered by the coaching staff. We'll have that press conference up in the next couple of hours. We will be live in about 10 minutes for the player rating show, so please do go and check it out. I'll see you guys there. Let's crack over a beer and just console ourselves, shall we? We're going to rate the players. Very interested to see what everyone's going to get. And then we'll be live again at 10 to 12 for Argentina versus New Zealand. Thank you very much for jumping on. Please do subscribe on the way out. Thank you for getting us past 7,000 subscribers. Now we're on the road to 8,000 subscribers. So if there's any positive you can take from this, that you guys, I really do appreciate your support. Keep smashing the like, keep subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys in a little bit for the player ratings.